Good morning. We are live from Joint Base Andrews here awaiting President Trump's arrival on Marine One, then on his voyage to South Florida on Air Force One, which you're looking at right now. Good morning, everybody. Brian Glenn here, Right Side Broadcasting on this January 20th, 2021. Standing in a position right now I quite honestly didn't think we would be in for several reasons. But let's get into why we're here. This is the official send-off for President Trump. He is scheduled to arrive here just shortly after 8 o'clock on Marine One. And from what we understand, we'll have a few minutes on the podium, a brief speech, and then we'll get on Air Force One and fly out to South Florida, where he's scheduled to land later on this morning. Let me set the atmosphere for you right now. It is a very different situation. Of course, it feels a lot like a rally with the music, the flags, the staging, the photo opportunities that are provided here. But on the flip side of this, it is very much unlike a rally. There's a lot of sadness in the air. I've talked to several Trump staff workers, and there's an element of sadness that this is how this all ends today. And of course, the president spoke yesterday. We delivered that message to you at around 4 o'clock. If you missed that, go back on our Facebook page and our YouTube page and watch that. The president showed his love for this country and his love for the American people. And from day one, it was all about serving the American people. And you take a billionaire that had everything in common with the average person here on Main Street America, and that's what made this president so successful. We can go over the laundry list of accomplishments this president has had over the last 4 years, not only starting with putting America first. I remember the first time I saw the words "Make America Great Again," and it became perfectly clear what that really meant. It meant about putting America first, putting the interest of America first, putting the American people first, and that's exactly what he has done the last 4 years. Turning to the economic side of things, he was able to turn a recession around. We had one of the greatest economies, the greatest GDPs in American history. Wall Street hit 32 highs, I believe, in the year 2019. So what a historical moment for our country economically. And of course, he was just down in South Texas last week at Alamo, Texas, wrapping up his 400-plus border wall that he's constructed. That was one of the promises this president had from day one as well, to secure our southern border with the wall. Pulled us out of ridiculous trade agreements. The Paris Climate Agreement, ripped that up, got us out of that. Also did with the Iran nuclear deal as well. So he was able to really put our sovereignty first, put American first, and get America respected across the globe as far as a country that will not tolerate terrorism. We will not tolerate trade deals between other countries in the U.S. that were not in favor of the U.S. corporations. And so that's what he's done over the last 4 years. And of course, we know what happened through the election time, and it's been a long election season. It went almost into OT. And then here we are today on this January 20th, 2021, ready to say goodbye to our president as he goes off into private life. Let me step aside once again and give you an idea of what it looks like here. Obviously, with the music and a little bit of the energy in the air, it feels like a rally. It just does, minus all of the Trump supporters that would typically be here. Now, I saw a post on social media about inviting people to this base. I don't know the validity of that, because obviously this is a very secure area that we're at. So there is no civilians here anywhere remotely to where we're standing right now. So I don't know where that crowd is gathered that was talked about so much on social media. There's probably about a dozen media outlets here. All the mainstream media is here, obviously, and we seem to be the only independent conservative news outlets here, which it's an honor to be able to stand on this stage right now. And there's a lot of emotions going in the air right now. I talked earlier about speaking with some Trump staffers, and the sadness that I could tell was over them as well. Plus, you see a lot of people here just working at the base here. There's a level of, this isn't something I think a lot of us wanted to see, but it is the reality of the situation. So we just have to learn to live with it. Weather-wise, earlier we walked out here and it was a mixture of snow and rain and very cold, very windy. Of course, the moisture has gone away, and we now have clear skies, wind blowing at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, putting a little bit of a chill in the air. So temperature only really remaining in the upper 30s, and the feels like temperatures likely in the low 30s. So it's a very chilly day here in the DC area. As you can see off to the left, I don't know if you showed that gauge. There's other planes here on standby. I would imagine this is just always protocol. I would imagine this is kind of where they're based here, obviously. But if you're an aerospace plane guy, this is definitely the place to be. We saw a couple of jets earlier take off. It was dark, so I couldn't recall what they were, but a lot of activity in this area. And we're at a point. I've been reading a lot of comments on social media. A lot of people are sad. There's a lot of sadness in the air about this president leaving office, and we can all feel with you right now. Every one of you watching us right now, every single one of you watching us right now, I am with you. I am feeling the same exact emotions that you have right now. And I don't know what the next 4 years looks like for this country. I know the policies that Joe Biden has talked about doing from day one in his first 100 days. All of them pretty much are a reversal of what we saw during the Trump administration. So we'll see what that plays out as well. But as far as the future of Trump in politics, we just don't know. I know that a lot of people love to read into his speeches and really break down exact words that he says. And I don't want to speculate at this point the future of President Trump in politics, but I will say this: the future of MAGA, the mantra of keeping America first and putting America first, the interest of Americans in our, not only in our sovereignty, but our financial and our military, that should all remain the same. That should all be passed forward as we move on to whatever the next Republican conservative front runner looks like. I think that should be something that is continued, and I believe we've heard a lot of people talking about those that will carry the torch for the Republicans and the conservatives. If you don't support the ideals that Trump was all about, then you're not going to make it in this party. And I've even seen calls for, is there a third party? Should we have a third party? Should we have a party separate from Republicans and more of a patriot party? That conversation is up as well. So I just clearly don't know. Let me recap a little bit of what we saw leaving the DC area early this morning. Tight security, obviously going over, I think, the George Washington Bridge and really every bridge around this area is heavily patrolled. There are random checkpoints. I saw cars being pulled over, and authorities, I guess, wanting to see ID and all that security protocols there. But so it's very, very tight around this area. Obviously, if you've been following us the last couple of days, we've seen the security heightened around the White House and the Capitol. We've seen areas closed off, access to civilians and even media people as well. So if you plan on going down and checking out whatever is happening with the inauguration process, I don't know. We haven't really gotten a lot of details on the parade. We don't really know much about that at all, and we don't really plan on covering that. So, but if you are planning on going down there, just be aware that it is very tight. The roads are closed, and you might end up just having to walk a long way, as we did last night, walking to our hotel. We had to switch, and that was quite the walk there. And we saw streets that were open before that now are closed. So it's just a very tight area. Coming from the airport, I will say this, I was at the airport last night at Reagan International, and it was quiet, and it was very surprising. And I had mentioned to my photographer here that I expected if we're doing an inauguration today, I expected the airports and around the airports to be busy, and I didn't see any of that. So if they're expecting people to fly in for this inauguration, I don't know what the crowd's going to look like. My photographer made an excellent point. He goes, I would imagine more people will show up here, and then perhaps there is an overflow area, and I'm just not seeing it from this vantage point, but perhaps more people will show up for this send-off for President Trump than will show up for Biden's inauguration. And that probably would absolutely be a fact if that was the case. We're keeping our eyes to the sky right now because the president was scheduled to land here around 8 o'clock from what we understand. Now, of course, all that's very fluid as far as, maybe delays getting out of the White House. We don't know that. I mean, this is all on his schedule. So, when he decides to exit, he will, and he'll land here. Of course, we'll cover that as well. If you're just now joining us, good morning. Brian Glenn, Right Side Broadcasting at the Joint Base Andrews here, awaiting President Trump to arrive on Marine One and then eventually get on that beautiful aircraft that's behind us that you're taking a look at right now, Air Force One. Scheduled to make a few remarks here in front of the crowd, mostly just media, obviously, and some Air Force personnel here on the ground. There are no civilians here, by the way. There's absolutely no civilians, public civilians here. So there's no Trump supporters. There's no Trump fans here. Just media and Air Force personnel, and of course White House personnel as well. He is scheduled to talk for about, from what I understand, 30-40 minutes, and then he will get on Air Force One and head to Florida. If I'm not mistaken, we perhaps have a crew down in Florida that will at least show some of the activity of the president arriving at that point. But what a very busy day here in Washington, and of course, with the inauguration ceremonies going on, a lot of it is virtual. We saw some of the entertainment lineup that was scheduled for that as well. Like I said, we're not going to cover that at all. I think we're going to do a mic check here real quickly. Okay, we're just doing an audio check. Hey, we want to thank everybody for watching us. Of course, it's been a long road on this campaign, and we want to thank everyone at home because we are 100% viewer supported. And of course, we have some great patriots like Mike Lindell as well. But if you feel the need to contribute to our conservative causes here in our network, please do. Go to rsbnetwork.com, rsbnetwork.com/donate. Go to our website. You can click on the donate tab. Donate what you can, because every bit goes to help us fund this network and continue to do what we do. We know the landscape of the media is changing. We know that the dynamics are changing. We know people are getting their information from different sources now. A lot of the mainstream media is being put on hold, and they're going to outlets like Right Side. So without you, we cannot do that. We must continue to support this president and support conservative causes. So we're really pleased. Just go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate. And also, we could not do this without our good buddy over at mypillow.com. And of course, I sat down with Mike Lindell several times in the last couple of days. He shared his thoughts on why he was at the White House last week. He shared his thoughts on what's going on in his business. He is the latest victim of cancel culture, and I think it's time to cancel culture. The latest is Mike Lindell has seen a lot of his retailers like Bed Bath & Beyond, I believe Kohl's, H-E-B, has put a ban on his products. They removed his products from his shelf because of social media pressure coming from what he describes as bots attacking these retailers to remove the pillows from his shelf. So I just want to ask you guys right now, do us a favor, do Mike a favor. Go to the website, mypillow.com. That's mypillow.com, and shop away. And right now, if you put the promo code RSBN, that's RSBN, you get up to 66% off. We have probably done hundreds of these call for actions for you to help our friend over at mypillow.com. And I think now, more than ever, as we stand here on January 20th, 2021, saying goodbye to our president. What a fitting time right now to go onto the website and buy a pillow. And by the way, a portion of those proceeds goes back to RSBN and allows us to do exactly what we're doing today. So please go to mypillow.com and put in the promo code RSBN and receive up to 66% off on your entire order. And that man has really put his faith out there. He has really put his political beliefs out there. He was from day one a supporter of the president. And from day one, when he was very outspoken about his support for the president, he received a lot of kickback from that on his businesses, people planning to protest his business and boycott his businesses. And then we've seen his business actually skyrocket since then. So we know what the boycotts look like in the face of conservatism. And so now is the time to help him as well. Go to mypillow.com, and do what you can for that. We are moments away, I guess. I look kind of an eye on the sky here at Joint Base Andrews as we anticipate Marine One coming in shortly after 8 o'clock, and then the president having a few words on the podium behind us. And I would imagine he's going to recap the last 4 years and what it's been like to serve our country and serve the American people. Very much like the message he delivered yesterday that we covered, in which, by the way, I think we were the only outlet to cover that message in its entirety from the very beginning. I think most media outlets had clips of it at that point and showed some highlights, but we were the only ones to show that as well. And if you're looking for us on Twitter, we have been officially suspended from Twitter as of yesterday. We just got a notification this morning that has been extended as well. So if you're looking for Right Side Broadcasting on Twitter, unfortunately, we are not there. However, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and some of the videos that you might find on Mike Lindell, they are not on YouTube. They are on Rumble and our Facebook page as well, due to certain restrictions. So you can definitely find us on social media there. If you want to follow me as well, Brian Glenn TV. That's BrianGlenn, Brian Glenn TV on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I am live there as well. I'm just reading some notes here, make sure some programming notes, make sure I got all this for you. But yes, we will have the arrival in Florida coming up later this morning. We'll have that as well, as that is a huge thing as well, to see our president exit Air Force One. And of course, we're waiting for his arrival here at Joint Base Andrews. If you're just now joining us, welcome. Please share this broadcast, comment, tag a friend, as this is likely the last time you're going to see this president get on this plane and leave D.C. for a while. We don't know what his political plans are outside of this term, but obviously we all support him in whatever he does. And of course, whoever does pick up the torch for the Republicans and conservatives, we want to make sure that those conservative values are basically continued. And the Make America First, it's not something we just said for 4 years. It's just not a t-shirt, a hat, or a sticker. It is a mindset of putting America first, and it's not racist. It's not anything outside of putting America first. And I love to see critics talk about that, because I just challenge anyone to find anything wrong about putting our country first, putting you first, the American people. Remember, politicians work for the people. People don't work for the politicians. And so we need to make sure that that remains perfectly clear as we move forward. Let me step aside and give you an idea of what's behind me. And of course, I certainly don't want to block any shot of Marine One coming here. It is 8:02 Eastern time here in the DC area, and we will remain a very head on a swivel, if we will, to make sure we catch Marine One coming in. And of course, if you're just now joining us, you can follow us on all of our social media platforms as well. It's been a kind of a journey here. We've been in Washington, D.C. for about 3 months now, following all this post-election coverage, all the Senate hearings that we saw about the election. We've been there from day one, and we've been covering it from day one. And I have sat through hundreds and hundreds of hours of Senate testimony. I've sat through numerous public hearings about the election and everything that's going on. So I just want to let you know, we have been here from day one, and we are not going anywhere. And we enjoy bringing this coverage to you. And as a reminder, if you could, please go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and donate what you can to help keep our coverage going and keep you informed of what's going on, because really the media landscape has changed so much. Just in the last 3 months, it has changed so much, and we've seen viewership for a lot of the mainstream media drop significantly, and we've seen independent people like ourselves and a few other conservative outlets really increase in our overall followers, our subscribers, our viewers. And so it's something that it continues to evolve in the world of media. And I don't know what it looks like 4 years from now. I don't know what it looks like a year from now. But it has changed, and I keep telling, when I look at what Biden has planned for the first 100 days in office, it is a complete reversal of the policies that we saw over the 4 years rather for President Trump. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the next 100 days looks like for this country, and as we try to keep the businesses open, as we try to get states try to open back up, because I would tell you this whole area here is something else. It is absolutely something else. Okay, I will say this, Gage, let's see if we can swing the camera over. We've got a large group of people coming out of this hangar over here. It looks like civilians. I see some reds, perhaps I saw a person wearing a MAGA hat. So perhaps this is the area that I talked about earlier, of civilians getting together to say goodbye to our president, and perhaps that's the group that assembled here. I just was not aware. They were completely out of sight. We came in at a different parking area even. We were personally escorted by the United States Air Force, so we bypassed a lot of the public parking. So there you have it. We have a group of Trump supporters, which is nice. This is very fitting, because he has always been a president for the people, and to see this right now just warms my heart that this select group of people will be able to come out here, and as you can see them right here. Oh, this is wonderful, absolutely wonderful to see this as they make their way over to where we are at. And it just warms my heart, because this is what it's all about, people. This is absolutely what it's all about. President Trump is for the people, and what you're seeing right now is a reason why this president won back in 2016, and this is it. I'm so happy now, because I was afraid that this send-off would be nothing but the press, nothing but people that a lot of the time have attacked this president over the last 4 years, and to see him be able to do his speech in front of these real people, I absolutely love it. And I cannot tell you how happy this makes me to see these people coming here right now, because this is what it's all about. But President Trump is about the people. Wow. That was a great surprise to see him come out of that hangar. Absolutely. All right. So we've got the people here. We've got the stage. We've got the flags. We've got Air Force One. All we need now is our amazing president, which I would imagine it's 8:07 here at Joint Base Andrews, and I can just imagine that we could be getting fairly close for him landing. Maybe 8:10-ish, I'm thinking. I did hear 8:10 earlier, but as we all know, the time is very fluid here, as we've seen with the president. We've been with rallies across this country where it was essentially an hour and a half delay from it starting, because it's really, if you think back over the campaign season, he would have 5 of these in one day. So he would jump from city to city to city to city. The president loves to talk a lot off script, and I would imagine he'll do that today. But, this thing could start at 9. Who knows? But we'll find out. If you're just now joining us, good morning on this January 20th, 2021. We are live at Joint Base Andrews. I am Brian Glenn. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday morning with us as we wait for this president to land here on Marine One. And also, if you would, please go into our comment section and let us know what your favorite thing about President Trump and what he did over the last 4 years. Give us an idea of his greatest accomplishments in your personal perspective. So That's a fun chat that we can get going on all of our social medias, is talk about what your favorite thing that he's done for this country. For me, without a doubt, it was kind of exposing D.C. It was kind of exposing the corruption that is in the world, and that was one of my favorite things that he did. Also, putting America first. The whole, I'm going to do what's best for the average American person, and not for corporations, not for other countries. That was one of my favorite things that he did. And of course, his rallies over the last 8-9 months have just been so much fun to cover. The energy, the people, the enthusiasm, the love for this president has been something like we've never seen before. And we saw what Joe Biden's campaign rallies looked like. It was in a high school parking lot with a couple hula hoops, 3 people and a dog. It had no energy. And so what a stark contrast between what President Trump brings to the table and what Joe Biden brought on his campaign. But we'll see where this all goes. We'll see how this plays out. And we're glad you're joining us on this journey as well. And of course, you can follow us on social media. I said earlier, I want to make sure I emphasize again, because a lot of people are wondering where we went on Twitter. Our Twitter has been suspended, and I don't know exactly when that's going to be back up. But you can definitely follow us on Facebook and also on YouTube and Instagram as well. Instagram's a great way. I'm going to be sharing a lot of the Instagram stories as we go throughout this morning. So please follow us on Instagram, and I'll be more than happy to put up as many images and videos as I can. I'm trying to share the moment to the best of my abilities, only because there's so much to show you right now. And I want you to capture this moment, because this is a moment in history that we're all going to remember. And just kind of looking around to see if I recognize anybody, any dignitaries that's in the crowd here at this point. I don't know. I know that there are a lot of people were scheduled to be in Florida at his arrival. So I don't. You kind of, you do start to see some familiar faces, but I don't from rally to rally. But as of right now, and it's so hard because everyone's bundled up and it's freezing out here. I don't see it at this point, but I will keep looking. But yeah. We've got supporters coming in here. I'd probably say at this point, realistically, I'm not that good at gauging numbers, but we have a couple hundred people here easily in this small space. So we're here. We're glad you're joining us, and we'll see where this all goes. I know there was so much speculation on social media as far as what's next for the president. What can he do? Is he going to bring the military in? Is he going to really step down? I mean, there's just so many rumors and speculation, and I tried to completely derail a lot of these false narratives about what was next for the president and these conspiracy theories. We completely stay away from those here at Right Side, so I am not one at all to spread those. But I don't know what's next. Perhaps he will say during his speech what is next for him. I would imagine at this point, just my personal opinion, I think he goes down to Florida and he takes a break, because it has been a roller coaster of a ride for this president the last 4 years. And of course, he was attacked really from day one from the media. So he has just been, it has not been a very, I would say, a normal relationship between the president and the media. Of course, we saw the coddle that went on between Obama for 8 years. We saw the way the media really doesn't push back on Barack Obama at all. And a lot of the policies and procedures that he put in place were never challenged by the media. And I would suspect that might be the same with this new administration. I put up something on my Instagram, and you can go to it at Brian Glenn TV, where basically it was Kamala Harris walking out off a plane, and then I think Leslie Stahl or somebody, a reporter, were saying, "Oh, I've got to ask her about her Converse, and her fashion." And I thought to myself, oh yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to ask you what kind of shoes you're wearing, what kind of ice cream you're going to eat today. Hey, what's your favorite playlist when you work out? Unfortunately, I think that might be what we get for the next 4 years. I think it might be, what's your playlist? What are you wearing? Instead of the policies that they're implementing in place. And so I just wanted to say that's a big deal, the way the president, the way the media will address the president. That is a huge. Will they push back? Will they ask tough questions? Will they challenge the president? We'll find out. I will say this: we are starting to see a little bit more of the helicopters patrolling the area, and from when I've seen the president arrive on the south lawn there on Marine One, that was some of the things that prefaced his arrival, was the increase of helicopters in the area. So I'm not saying that we're anytime getting close for him coming, but obviously we could be closer than we were. 8:14 here on the East Coast. Thanks for joining us. If you're just now tuning in, thank you so much. We are waiting for President Trump to arrive on Marine One. He will have a brief speech here and then make his way on Air Force One behind us and go over to South Florida. We got a couple right side broadcasting people down there that noticed us, and they're kind of waving to us, which is nice. This has been an honor. This has been a true honor to do what I'm doing right now. And you take a guy that was on the other side of the media and was kind of forced out, and to be standing here in front of Air Force One and bringing this coverage to you. President Trump's last day here in D.C. is a pure honor. Words cannot describe what's going through my head right now, and to just see some of these people here that recognize us from right side and to give us a thumbs up and they pump the fist, things like that. It's just it's an amazing feeling, and I'm just so thrilled, and I love everybody who's watching us right now on right side. Your support, not only your financial support, but your emotional, your prayers. I mean, Father Frank Pavone, we've been jumping on these prayers for how many months now, and just the faith has guided all of us through what we've been through the last couple months especially. So I just want to encourage everybody to stay in your faith, stay grounded, stay rooted in the Bible. We'll continue to pray for our president, continue to pray for right side, because we are up against a lot of censorship right now. We lost our Twitter, that's been suspended. And there's so many guidelines across other platforms that it's hard to speak the truth without being censored. So I just ask you to please continue to pray for this country, pray for this president, pray for our network, and we will continue to pray for you. Every single one of you watching us right now, if you think that you're just a viewer to us, you are wrong. You are a friend. You are somebody that we want to pray for you and your family. And that's exactly what we do. I personally do that every single day, multiple times a day. I pray for all of us that God has sovereignty over us and continues to guide us through these troubling times, because that's the only thing that's going to get us through a lot of this. Just kind of looking around, eyeing the sky here. I don't see anything as of yet coming in. I would imagine there's enough media here that when the president does start to make his approach to Joint Base Andrews, that we will get a heads up on him in the area. It is a clear sunny day. That was not the case when we first walked out here. I thought we were going to be packing rain gear for the next couple of hours, and it was a mixture of snow and a mixture of rain and quite chilly and windy. So I thought, okay, this is how we're gonna end this day, right? But the sun is out. The wind has subsided some, but it is a little bit breezy, and it is downright cold. But it's exactly what you would expect, I guess, in this part of the country. Glad you're joining us. I said this earlier. Comment down below one of your favorite things that you've seen President Trump do the last 4 years. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a friendly discussion, and let's remember this president. Let's remember the great things he's done. Let's remember the famous speeches that he's put together and those moments that he's captured over the last 4 years, and so many great moments. I mean, he is such a, you would think a guy that's a billionaire, that is just a famous, bigger than life TV star, businessman, to think that he has everything in common with the average person. It's amazing. Let's see if we can get a shot of that. Looks like we have the Air Force Band who was out here earlier doing a rehearsal, playing some beautiful music. And I imagine they're getting in place now. So I can, perhaps we're getting even closer to the president leaving and arriving here on Marine One. Imagine they're going to play some for the president, as you would expect, a very presidential send-off here. A few words from the president, some very ceremonial activities here as well, and just and you know, this is a tradition of doing a send-off for the president, and of course the arrival we'll have down in West Palm later this morning. We'll have that coverage for you as well. On a side note for programming, I got to make sure I confirm this, but we are going to be in Phoenix, Arizona on Saturday, and this is a part of an Arizona GOP meeting. So I don't have a whole lot of details on that right now, but if you're interested in what's going on in Arizona in terms of the GOP there, and a lot of races and a lot of just the state of Republicans in Arizona, please tune in to us on Saturday, as I believe Liz Willis and myself will be down in Phoenix to cover that as well. So we're going to go from a very emotional time here, and let me set the mood here. If you didn't miss this early on, the emotions here. Matter of fact, I think I see Don Jr. Hang on a second, Gage. If you want, on the other side of this white van, I think we are, because we've gotten a lot of media that's turned. I believe I see Don Jr. right. Bear with me, people. I'm trying to direct our camera guy. Hopefully we can. You see him? There he is, right there. Don Jr. and Kimberly. From this point, I don't recognize the others. Having a few words. I just received word that Trump has departed the White House and he's en route. That was as of a few minutes ago. So typically he might be about 8-10 minutes before he gets to where we are. You're taking a look at Don Jr. Walking towards the plane right in front of the crowd. Don't know if he has a plan to say a few words as well. It'd be great if he did. It'd be wonderful if he had. It'd be great if he would say a few words. There he is. He was waving to the crowd, and I was able to kind of, I did my one fist in the air and pumped it, showing his support that everybody here at Right Side loves this family. Let me see if you could see a lot of the people gathered around. There we go. Just a moment here, you know, a moment in history. And what can we expect for the next 4 years? It's going to be very, very interesting. And I told Gage, I was staring at this plane earlier, I said, I'm just so sad. I'm just so sad that this is the way it ends. Very, very sad. Okay, we got Ivanka over there. We got Ivanka coming in. We got Ivanka. It looks like we have Barron, the whole family here, actually, here to greet the president. I'll let you guys wave in the crowd. Of course, the Trump family. What a beautiful family. I see Eric Trump as well. Ivanka waving to the crowd. Just a beautiful, beautiful moment here at Joint Base Andrews. Just a beautiful moment. Looking around to see if we can find anybody else that you might, looking for the press secretary, and perhaps she is here as well. I don't see her. Let's see what you're looking at right now. There you go. Yeah, it's a little block. You know what you could do, Gage? If you want to slide over, we could. But Yeah. Okay. We're just trying to get the operations here, give you a really clean shot of what's going on. There's a lot of media here, and there's a lot of media in front of us, so we're just trying to get a good position to show you not only the family, the crowd, but we also want to give you a good shot of the podium when the president finally arrives here. I was just notified about 5 minutes ago that he was en route from the White House, and we'll wait for him to come here, and we'll bring all this to you, as this is a moment in time that is something that none of us are ever going to forget. We're never going to forget this. And of course, we all have our favorite reasons why we love this president. And I just want to emphasize that he has done so much for this country. He has done so much for the American people, for business, for our sovereignty in this country, our national security, our trade deals. He has done so much, and I just want us all to remember those accomplishments, and do not let the events of January 6th tarnish those memories for our president. It is not deserving that happens. And of course, you always hear the you can't let a few bad apples spoil the bunch, and we cannot let that happen on January 6th. We must remember this president and all the beautiful things that he did for this country. It was some RSBN, so we must remember all of that. We must remember the accomplishments of this president, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. We are celebrating this president. We are going to have a presidential send-off, and we're going to honor all the things that he's done. And so we appreciate you tuning in with us. I don't care if you're at work right now, tell your boss, you know what? I'm watching the president. I'm not going to work today, and this is what I'm going to do. And watch our coverage here, and as we toss it to our team down in South Florida, you can continue to watch our president as he arrives there. But just what a beautiful moment here. Got the family down below taking some pictures. That's a great shot, Gage. What a great shot that looks like. Look at that. Our camera guy, I'm giving virtual high fives to my camera guy right now. You are getting a beautiful look at that family taking some pictures, waiting for President Trump to arrive, which if I'm watching, looking around, trying to keep my eye to the sky. Hey, real quickly, I want to remind everybody to please go to our website, rsbnetwork.com, rsbnetwork.com, and donate. We are 100% viewer supported. We don't have big shareholders. We don't have that kind of stuff. We are 100% viewer supported. We rely on your donations. I would imagine the information is on your website, rsbnetwork.com/donate. And then you can also find us on YouTube as well. There's a donate button there. So go on. I don't have YouTube pulled up, or I would read some of your chats at this point, but I don't have it. So please go to our website. Okay, hang on a second. We got some. I don't know if that is Marine One or not at this point, but there is a helicopter. We're going to pan over to the right and see if we can pick that up. I'm thinking it probably is at this point. Marine One. Well, actually, let me back up. Typically, there's a couple escorts on here. I don't know which one would be Marine One. I'm thinking maybe this first one, and the second one's are just escort securities. But that looks like, the first one does look like Marine One. Yes, it does look like Marine One, and the other two look like it could be just more of an escort for security, but we'll find out here in a second. All right, we're glad you're joining us on this Wednesday morning, January 20th, 2021. Happy to have you. Brian Glenn, Right Side Broadcasting. We're here. Going to bring this action to you, and then we'll toss it over to our team later this morning who are in South Florida for his arrival there. And this has been a long journey for all of us, and to stand on this podium right now to bring this coverage to you is something that it is my honor to do, and I'm very privileged to be able to do this, as this is a moment in history that I don't think any of us will forget. And as we see that, yes, I would only suspect that is the president as it taxis closer to the stage. The power of Marine One, by the way, is tremendous. We've seen that take off on the South Lawn, and it is such a powerful aircraft. As I would imagine, we're going to feel a little bit of the kickback from the wind there. So now we have another one coming. I would imagine that is the one. There's another one off to the right, but I don't think it's coming in very close, but we'll find out. Yep. Okay. All right, if you're just now joining us, welcome. We're moments away from the president taking this stage and saying his goodbye to the American people from Joint Base Andrews. And we are so glad you're joining us today. We are one of a few media allowed to be here to cover this, and so we want to say thank you to the White House press for allowing us to be here and do this right now, because this is exclusive coverage, and we are so happy to be able to provide this to you, our loyal Right Side Broadcasting viewer, when you guys have been by us for so long, and we certainly appreciate that. And God willing, we are going to continue to bring you coverage on this president as he moves into private life, and perhaps, who knows what goes on with there. The feeling here earlier was, for me, it was a lot of sadness, but it had an element of a rally to it with the music. Now that we add several hundred Trump supporters here, and it's great. At that point, it feels like a rally. It feels like this is the beginning of something. Just an incredible feeling right now to be here, to hear the music, to see the flags, to see the people, to see the kids, everyone gathered here to witness history is indescribable right now. And as you can imagine, a lot of tension will shift from this later to what's going on with the new administration coming in. And of course, we've seen the security, we've seen all that over the last, several weeks now as we've been in D.C. bringing all the security and all of that to you. D.C. is definitely a different environment now than it was even a week ago. So there's so much going on right now, but we're glad you're joining us on this last journey for President Trump. And of course, we don't know where it goes from here. We just absolutely don't know where it goes. Now the president he's going to be greeted by his family, who is right outside of the Suburban there, and the door is now open on Marine One, and the president should be walking out. We've got some of the press people coming out first. Press will be joining him on Air Force One on the way to Florida as well. They're getting in place for him to walk out. Just an amazing moment, and we're glad you're joining us right here on Right Side Broadcasting. As a reminder, we do not have a Twitter right now, so please, if you want to reach out to us, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram as well. Hopefully we'll be back on Twitter soon, as soon as our account is lifted. So you can continue to get all this content right here on all of our social media platforms. We are moments away from President Trump, And here we go. Let's listen to the perhaps we have a little bit of well, thought maybe we might get an announcement here. Here we go. Listen in.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and First Lady of the United States, Donald J. Trump and Melania Trump.
A little bit of military salute going on right now. That's the noise you're hearing in the background. President Trump and First Lady taking the stage. All right, a few words from the President and First Lady. Let's listen in.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we love you, and I can tell you that from the bottom of my heart. This has been an incredible 4 years. We've accomplished so much together. I want to thank all of my family and my friends and my staff and so many other people for being here. I want to thank you for your effort, your hard work. People have no idea how hard this family worked. They worked, and they worked for you. They could have had a much easier life, but they did a fantastic job. I just want to thank all of you, everyone. I want to thank Mark Meadows, who's here, someplace right there. I want to thank Mark. But it's been something very special. We've accomplished a lot. Our First Lady has been a woman of great grace and beauty and dignity. And so popular with the people, so popular with the people. In fact, honey, would you like to say a few words, please?
Being your First Lady was my greatest honor. Thank you for your love and your support. You will be in my thoughts and prayers. God bless you all. God bless your families. And God bless this beautiful nation. Thank you.
What else has to be said, right? But what we've done, that's true, honey, great job. What we've done has been amazing by any standard. We rebuilt the United States military. We created a new force called Space Force. That in itself would be a major achievement for a regular administration. We were not a regular administration. We took care of the vets, 91% approval rating. They've never had that before. The vets have given us, the VA, the vets have given us an approval rating like has never been before. We took care of our vets and our beautiful vets. They were very badly treated before we came along. And as you know, we get them great service, and we pick up the bill, and they can go out and they can see a doctor if they have to wait long periods of time. We got it so that we can sadly get rid of people that don't treat our vets properly. We didn't have any of those rights before when I came on, so our vets are happy, our people are happy, our military is thrilled. We also got tax cuts, the largest tax cut and reform in the history of our country by far. I hope they don't raise your taxes. But if they do, I told you so. And if you look at the regulations, which I consider the regulation cuts to be maybe even more important, that's why we have such good and have had such good job numbers. The job numbers have been absolutely incredible. When we started, had we not been hit by the pandemic, we would have had numbers that would never have been seen. Already our numbers are the best ever. If you look at what happened until February a year ago, our numbers were at a level that nobody had ever seen before. And even now, we really built it twice. We got hit. Nobody blames us for that. The whole world got hit, and then we built it again. And now the stock market is actually substantially higher than it was at its higher point prior to the pandemic. So it's really, you could say we built it twice. And you're going to see incredible numbers start coming in if everything is sort of left alone. Be careful. Very complex. Be careful. But you're going to see some incredible things happening. And remember us when you see these things happening, if you would. Remember us, because I'm looking at elements of our economy that are set to be a rocket ship up. It's a rocket ship up. We have the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest economy in the world. And as bad as the pandemic was, we were hit so hard, just like the entire world was hit so hard. Places that thought they got away with it didn't get away with it. They're suffering right now. We did something that is really considered a medical miracle. They're calling it a miracle, and that was the vaccine. We got the vaccine developed in 9 months instead of 9 years or 5 years or 10 years or a long time. It was supposed to take a long time, many, many years to develop a vaccine. We have 2 out. We have another one coming almost immediately, and it really is a great achievement. So you should start to see really good numbers over the next few months. I think you're going to see those numbers really skyrocket downward. And I can only say this, we have worked hard. We've left it all, as the athletes would say, we've left it all in the field. We don't have to come and say, we'll never say in a month when we're sitting in Florida, we're not going to be looking at each other and saying, you know, if we only worked a little bit harder, you can't work harder. And we had a lot of obstacles, and we went through the obstacles. And we just got 75 million votes, and that's a record in the history of sitting presidents. That's an all-time record by a lot, by many millions in the history of sitting presidents. It's been really just an honor. One of the things we're very, very proud of is the selection of almost 300 federal judges and 3 great Supreme Court justices. That's a very big number. That's a record-setting number. And so we've done a lot, and there's still things to do. The first thing we have to do is pay our respects and our love to the incredible people and families who suffered so gravely from the China virus. It's a horrible thing that was put onto the world. We all know where it came from, but it's a horrible, horrible thing. So be very careful, be very, very careful. But we want to pay great love to all of the people that have suffered, including families who have suffered so gravely. So with that, I just want to say you are amazing people. This is a great, great country. It is my greatest honor and privilege to have been your president. I will always fight for you. I will be watching, I will be listening, and I will tell you that the future of this country has never been better. I wish the new administration great luck and great success. I think they'll have great success. They have the foundation to do something really spectacular. And again, we put it in a position like it's never been before, despite the worst plague to hit since, I guess you'd say 1917, over 100 years ago. And despite that, the things that we've done have been just incredible, and I couldn't have done it without you. So just a goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form. And again, I want to just, in leaving, I want to thank our Vice President, Mike Pence, and Karen. I want to thank Congress, because we really worked well with Congress, at least certain elements of Congress. But we really did. We've gotten so much done that nobody thought would be possible. But I do want to thank Congress. And I want to thank all of the great people of Washington, D.C., all of the people that we worked with to put this miracle together. So have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, just what we expect the president to say. Recap a little bit of his accomplishments over the last 4 years, and wish luck to the next administration, and that's exactly what he has done. He's shown nothing but class, promises that this is not the end of him, his family. I think this is definitely not the end of the Make America Great Again movement, which is exactly what he has started. He started a movement, and they might have canceled him, but they will not cancel the movement. As he's saying his goodbyes right now, what a special moment between him. Now he's with Eric, and now a hug with Dawn. What a moment. This president, of course, the crowd, not as vocal as you would expect at a Trump rally, but nevertheless, we heard the chants of "We love you." We heard the support. We're now seeing a lot of hugs with people in the crowd. A lot of people saying their goodbyes. Oh, he's walking over. Let's see who he's going to talk to now. Just a moment in history right now. Melania looking absolutely stunning as they make their way. Might be a tight shot to cut through those flags, but they're going to go red carpet, walking up into the Air Force One. And the crowd obviously going to stick around. We're going to stick around. We want to see this Air Force One take flight as he's walking through the military. Of course, we had the salute, the military salute with the cannons being fired off when he first got here. We had the band playing upon his arrival, and now we've got a shot of him walking through. I know it's very difficult to see through these flags right now, but of course here in just a second you'll see him go up the stairs there to Air Force One. I want to remind everybody, thank you so much for staying with us here at Right Side Broadcasting. You can always go to our website, find out more of what's going on with our country. RSBnetwork.com, RSBnetwork.com. The President and First Lady almost to the top of the stairs, so we'll turn around, I expect, and give one final wave. And there you have it. What a moment. And of course the crowd returning their love for the president as well, as they walk off on Air Force One, and that's it. So at this point, once they are loaded up, Traditionally, this takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get this plane fired up and off the ground. And of course, we have a team down in Florida right now to receive the president later on this morning. I just want everyone to stay advised. To all of our social media, we will have full coverage on that as well. So obviously tune in to our Facebook and our YouTube and Instagram, as we'll have coverage of that happening. Crowd still sticking around, obviously. I'd probably say 200 to 300 people here. Very limited access here. Also, we want to remind everybody to please go onto our social media and put down what you think President Trump's greatest accomplishment was the last 4 years. What was his greatest accomplishment? What is one thing that you're really proud that he did? And let's remember some of those today on this final day of him in office. Let's remember some of the greatest accomplishments that he's done for America, for small businesses, for our military. He talked about that. When he first came out, he talked about the military being one that he was able to rebuild and help with benefits, and so that's just a great accomplishment there. And he's a big supporter of our military, and just kind of looking around, looking at some of the, gauging the mood here. It's different. There is a level of sadness. I'm not going to paint it that that does not exist here. It does. It does exist here. People, and he said this, millions and millions of people who voted for Trump are feeling a level of sadness today. And I want you to know that I stand here on this podium just as sad as you are. This is not the way I wanted January 20th, 2021 to go. We all thought this president would be reelected for a second term. So we stand here today to watch our president depart and go back into private life down in South Florida. And he's said it many times, this family has sacrificed so much for the good of the American people. They've really opened up their lives. They've been subject to a lot of criticism, not only by the press, but other people in politics. And that is something that is not easy to adjust. Imagine if you ran for a public office and you were to open up your private life to the media and to the world to be so scrutiny. It's just been a sacrifice for this president, and he has said that time and time again, that he had a beautiful life before now. But he wanted to serve the American people. He saw the corruption in our government and wanted to do something about it, and that's exactly what he has done for the last 4 years. As we see members of the press get on the plane, family members, friends, as they make their rolling up the red carpet there. Then they'll basically move back the stairs, close the door, and we'll see him depart here shortly. But going back to some of the accomplishments of President Trump, not only did he talk about rebuilding the military, but of course he's done a tremendous job with our economy, our stock market, our 401ks, bringing business back to the U.S. As we have heard time and time again, some of the policies under Barack Obama, it was not advantageous for companies to build things right here in America. That's why they went to Mexico. That's why they went overseas. Well, he reversed all of that, and through some really aggressive initiatives to entice businesses to stay right here in the U.S., he brought manufacturing back here, back to the U.S., brought jobs, rebuilt communities that were in trouble, that had lost factories. He was able to do all that with his economic policies, and so we are just so proud of that as well. And look at what he's done for as far as the international security, foreign policy. He has elevated the status of this country back to a level of respect, back to a level of sovereignty. And we have not seen any major, attack on, obviously on our soil, but even at some of our locations, embassies around the world. There is a level of protection that he brought to the U.S. And I just pray that that level of protection continues with this next administration, because that is something that we all can be very proud of, is that we felt like the moment this president took office back in January 20th, 2017, when he was inaugurated, we felt like there was a level of protection that he had over this country, and that the bad guys, quote, of the world didn't want to come near us, knowing that there were repercussions for showing aggressiveness towards the U.S. And that is one thing that I really pray continues, because I know that Biden has said the first 100 days he would open up immigration from countries like Iran and other Middle Eastern countries, something that President Trump quickly shut that down when there was ever a threat. And so now it seems like that might be reversed, and that's really it makes me I'm very fearful for what could happen during that. It also secured our southern borders. We just saw last week with the completion of 400 plus miles of wall that the president constructed. Had a press conference down there, talked about the importance of securing our southern border, talked about the importance of keeping the drug cartels, talking about keeping the gangs and the people who really wanted to come into our country and commit a crime. And that's exactly what that southern border wall did. And we are pleased that he was able to do that. And of course, the Biden administration has said they would like to reverse a lot of the immigration policies that Trump put in place. We saw that the caravans from Guatemala and Honduras were down there. We're getting a little bit of movement on Air Force One as makes its way to the runway here at Joint Base Andrews, and we say goodbye to President Trump, perhaps the greatest president to ever lead this country. And of course that can be widely debated, as you can imagine, this politically driven world that we live in. But if you look at his accomplishments, if you look at the things that he has done for this country and for the American people, there is absolutely no doubt that Donald J. Trump was the best president this country has ever seen. And what an appropriate song playing right now. I Did It My Way, Frank Sinatra. It just makes me think about this president. He did do it his way. He came to a very corrupt D.C. He came to a very corrupt swamp, politicians, backdoor deals, and he kicked over the apple cart of corruption here in D.C., and he cleaned it up to the best of his ability. And I think that is one thing that one of his greatest accomplishments is, in fact, that he was able to expose a lot of the fraud and the bad business that is Washington, D.C. And so we all watch this plane taxi over to the runway. The song and so many images are going through my head right now. I'm thinking about the wonderful times we've had with this president. I'm thinking about the times that he stepped on these rally stages, tens of thousands of people. One of the greatest rallies I saw was Bullhead City. We probably had 50,000 people there. And he felt like he was in touch with every single one of them. That he felt like he knew every single person that was there waving those flags, showing their love for him. That's the president that Donald J. Trump was. He knew who you were. He knew the problems you were going through. He knew absolutely everything because he talked to the American people. He got to know who voted for him. And it's just a very magical moment right here. We've got Marine One and the other copter fired up to get ready to depart. We've got media in our way right now. I apologize for that. We'll try to get them out of the way. Oh, all right. If you're just now joining us, welcome. Good morning. President Trump just wrapped up a speech here at Joint Base Andrews, and he is on his way to South Florida, where he will be greeted by a group of supporters there as well. We do have a team on the ground in South Florida to bring you coverage there as well. Family looks like they're still here. Some are here. I think a lot of them got on the plane, but I didn't have a clear shot of that. But as we wait for Air Force One to fire up and roll it forward, we've got some acceleration. And here we go, saying goodbye to Donald J. Trump, the greatest president this country has ever seen. And we say, Mr. President, goodbye and God bless. May the Lord shine his face upon you. Thank you from all of us here at Right Side and for every American watching us. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. And there he goes. What a morning here at Joint Base. You still got it? We still got a good shot of it? No, we lost. All right, well, let me step back in front here. The president on his way to South Florida. Group of people still here. Marine One still here as they watch this president make his way. Hopefully he flies right over the swamp and waves goodbye to them down there as well. But what a morning it has been here as the president delivered a very, I think, predictable speech, recapped a lot of his accomplishments over the last 4 years, talked about what he did, and he also prayed and said he wishes luck to the new administration, that he felt like he laid out a great, base for the next administration, and he was able to really lay down a foundation that he did not have when he walked in on day one. So very different scenario, and of course DC is a very different time right now. We have the exit now. Marine One is leaving. I would imagine they're going to go back to the White House. I'm just expecting that would probably be what they do. And of course you see some of the other planes that were on the ground. I just don't know. There we go. You can see, I guess we still got a good shot of him up there. It's hard to see this time of day with the light. I'm going to take a look at the monitor here. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great shot there, Gage. Great shot there as the president flies over this area. And of course, not a person has left this venue. The crowd that has been gathered here, they're still here. And they're probably going to likely stay here until this plane is completely out of sight. That is a great shot right there. Now he's going to go fly right into the sun, so we're just going to probably warn you guys, it might get a little blared out here, but they're starting to take down a little bit of the banners here. The podium's been taken down, the microphone's been taken down, but not a single person here has left. They want to see this plane, they want to see this president until they can no longer view him as he flies out into the horizon. Just what a What a very, very range. All right, we'll remind everybody to go to our website as well. As I said, we are viewer supported by you, the viewer. So go to our website, rsbnetwork.com. That's rsbnetwork.com. And don't forget to support our partner, Mike Lindell, over at MyPillow. We've seen the censorship that's happened with this company. We've seen retailers pull his product off their shelves due to the social media pressures of others. Do not let the radical left control and dictate what you're going to buy. So please go to mypillow.com. That's mypillow.com. And put in the promo code RSBN at checkout. That's RSBN, and get up to 66% off your entire order. MyPillow.com, and please support him, because a portion of those proceeds goes right here to Right Side Broadcasting and helps us continue the efforts that we have right now, and to continue to cover not only this president, but what is in the future for conservatives and Republicans. And we appreciate all of you guys following us right now. As a reminder, our Twitter has been suspended, so we no longer have a Twitter, but you can follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on Instagram as well, on those social media platforms. Those are the best ways to stay involved on what's going on here. You can also follow me at Brian Glenn TV on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Please look for the verification pages on all of those, because that is the real me. Thank you so much for following us. Don't forget to go to our website, rsbnetwork.com, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and keep up for all the events that we have going on with our network. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona on Saturday to cover a GOP meeting there with Liz Willis, and we'll bring you the very latest of what's going on from the state of Arizona. We've got a crew down in South Florida as well that will receive President Trump here later this morning. And just, I want to encourage everybody to pray. Pray for this country. Pray for our president. Pray for his family. We pray for each other, because it is not going to be easy the next 4 years as we see a lot of these policies be reversed. And I can't emphasize anymore that we must pray for each other. We must pray for the leadership in Washington. We must pray that God has his sovereignty over all of us, and that he is ultimately in control. So when you have fear and anxiety, do not turn to one another. You turn to the Lord, as he will guide us through all of this. And those who are going to be attacking us online, those who are going to be very aggressive towards our faith and our honor towards God, I just show them some love as well. Pray for the people who are against us, and may they see the light one day as well. All right, for Brian Glenn here at Joint Base Andrews, as we say, so long, goodbye, God bless. Until next time, we'll see you.
We're not just any news network. We show the crowd, we show the energy, we show the enthusiasm, we interview people, we show the smiles on everyone's faces as they fill into one of these venues to support their president, to support their values, their beliefs, their flag, their country. We show all of that to you. We bring it right up to you and make it personal, as if you're with us here experiencing it for yourself. This is one of the things that we pride ourselves in doing, is showing you on the ground experience of how people are seeing it and experiencing it for themselves. Just the energy, it's so electric and exciting. People recognize us everywhere we go. We have to stop and take photos. There are thousands of people that come up to us after each event and ask us to keep fighting for them, keep showing the truth. They thank us. They thank us for giving them a voice, because nobody else will give them a voice. Instead, they take who they really are and turn them into something that they're not. They try to say that these are white supremacist gatherings and they're neo-Nazis. They spin all these false narratives, but in reality, there are Filipinos, there are Thai people, they're Chinese, they're Brazilian, they're Cubans, they're Africans, they're Jamaicans, they're Americans. There are people from all over the world, to be honest with you. Everybody supports this president. Everybody supports American ideals of liberty, truth, freedom. We can't thank you enough for supporting us at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are almost entirely viewer supported. This isn't just our network, it's your network. This is a network for the people. This is a network that's about truth, delivering the truth, showing what's actually happening in the world from the perspective of the average person. We don't take money from big corporations. We don't take money from big...
Thanks guys for tuning in to Right Side Broadcasting. We are live from West Palm Beach to continue broadcasting President Trump's send-off. We are going to send the president off as soon as he lands on Air Force One, his very last Air Force One landing in West Palm Beach. So we will bring that to you live. He is supposed to be arriving, we think, around 11:30 or so. So we will bring you interviews and all the coverage, 100% unedited and uncensored. This is something you can't get from other places. So my name is Grace Saldana. I'm here with Philip Torino. And Philip, so what do you think about President Trump's remarks just now at Joint Base Andrews?
Well, I think the president did a great job at Joint Base Andrews. You saw the First Lady and the president arrive via Marine One, land at Joint Base Andrews. They got off. There was sort of a military salute, 21 guns, and certain music was playing, and cannons were going off. So it was certainly a beautiful ceremony, and then he got up and he kind of gave a speech talking about his accomplishments. I know that's something we're going to go over, but he heavily emphasized his accomplishments and how basically what he's been able to do in 4 years, it takes most people to do in 8. And so he said we're not a normal administration where, that's very clear. That's been the case since day one. So I think the president's speech was great at Joint Base Andrews. It was strong, and the First Lady obviously looked fantastic. And I just want to say thank you to Brian real quick, who did a great job at Joint Base Andrews with Gage. They covered that ceremony perfectly. And Brian, you are a true professional. So thanks, Brian.
Yes, I agree with you. I think it was a very powerful message, and I also think we should talk about how optimistic it was, because a lot of people on the left, of course, they say Trump's basically the end of the world. He just wants to destroy America and all this stuff. But he is quite the opposite. He has been optimistic this entire time. He wants to make the country greater than it's ever been before. And he's not going to stop now. Like he said, he is going to be back in some form. Now, what that means, we're not totally sure. I know you guys are speculating on exactly what that means. Maybe it's a media company. Maybe it's another presidential run in 2024. Who knows? It could be anything. But the good thing to note about that is that he will be back, and he is not going to stop fighting for this country just because he is not going to be president for another 4 years. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I know the Democrats want to impeach him and remove him, but I don't think they can even do that after he's not in office anymore. So it's very possible he could come out for another presidential run. But it's important for us, his supporters, to not give up hope and not give up faith, because we have to keep going. We've learned to support President Trump and what he's doing, and that's been our job for the past 4 years, but now we have to learn to fight basically stand up for our beliefs without President Trump in office, per se. So we need to step up our activism game. We need to continue spreading the truth to our friends and families and doing the hard work, because we're not going to fix all of America's problems in just a short 4 years. It was never enough time. So this is the long game. If we want to restore our country to its former greatness and make it even greater, then this is a long game thing, and we have several more years to go of doing that. So Philip, what are some ways you think people can get involved?
Of course, it's so important, and I think the MAGA movement is just bigger than Donald Trump. He was kind of the one who spearheaded it, and he championed it, but really what it is a movement, and it's going to be carried out by many people over the course of American history moving forward. So I think it's very important that in 2022, this is what we have to do. We have to start laying out a ground plan moving forward, because obviously President Trump, last day in office today, and the Bidens will take over. So we need to keep installing MAGA candidates into the Congress, into the Senate, and into the presidency in 2024. It may be the president. We don't know. He said that he's basically not going away, is what he said. He said, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So I think it's important. If you want to get involved, go to your local Republican Party, get involved in your congressional district, find people who support President Trump truly, and they support the MAGA doctrine per se, because that's what's so important moving forward, is that that was really the blueprint for success for the Trump presidency, was the MAGA doctrine. And I think it's so important that we continue to install that through all the levels of our government, even local officials.
Yeah, 100% agree. The people have power. You guys have power. Trying to refrain from saying certain things, but we all can do something to go to our local governments and put pressure on them to work on our behalf. That's what we elect them to do. We elected them to work on and to represent us in Congress and in the Senate and the presidency. So when they don't do that, they need to understand that the people are not going to tolerate that. So, for example, last week they censured the legislature censured Liz Cheney in Wyoming because they found that she did not represent the people. So what we can do is, like Philip said, we can get involved and talk to our local GOP. It's very important, because a lot of times I've worked in that arena and they have trouble getting more people to get involved, especially young people. So if you're young and motivated and inspired, get involved now, because it's not going to happen without you. Like I said, we don't have President Trump in the presidency anymore. Now the Democrats are going to control the Senate and Congress, and it's going to be more important now than ever to do our part. So we need to think about what we can do for our country, not what our country can do for us. So it's very important to remember.
Yeah, said by JFK, one of the great presidents who, kind of an outsider. He considered himself someone who was coming to Washington, D.C., to the presidency, not to serve himself, but to serve the American people, kind of in line with what President Trump did, even though President Trump released that farewell message yesterday, and he said he came to D.C. as the only true outsider, which is true in 2015. When he started to give his speech, came down the golden escalators, he said, I'm self-funding my campaign. I don't want to be beholden to special interests. And he did, and that's why they didn't like him, because he had his own platform, and it was truly his platform, because they couldn't control him.
And he didn't need their money. He didn't need anything from there. He's a billionaire. He's self-made. He has businesses. He has a family. He has everything. He didn't need them for anything. So basically, he went in there. He's like, I'm not taking a salary. I'm going to donate my entire salary that I get every single quarter. I think it was quarterly. Yep. And he worked for the American people so hard, and he has accomplished so many great things, especially I think I have so many favorite accomplishments. I can't even get into what's my favorite, because they're all equally important when you think about it. But one of them would be all the peace deals he made across the world. He established peace between Israel and many certain Middle East states, such as Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, Serbia, Kosovo. He made many peace deals across the world. He brought troops home. He ended endless wars. He didn't start any new wars. He took on Big Pharma. He got into education reform, took on the human trafficking issue, opioid abuse. There are so many accomplishments. So, Philip, I want to ask you, what are your favorite few accomplishments?
Well, I think President Trump making the promise about the border wall, I remember when he first announced, like I said, the day he came down the Golden Escalator, one of the things he was very clear on in his messaging during that speech was immigration. He said, for too long, people have come into this country undocumented, and some of them are criminals, and of course he was rang through the media for his comments, but you know what? It was the truth. What he was saying was truthful. People come here, they're not documented in many cases, and you get bad actors who sneak in with the people who are trying to do good to get here. But nonetheless, illegal is illegal, right? We can't say, well, this is good people illegal and that's bad people illegal. Well, if it's illegal, it's still illegal across the board. And I think him saying we're going to build a wall and we're going to have Mexico pay for it, and people say, well, Mexico didn't pay for the wall, they didn't write us a check. Well, President Trump renegotiated many of the trade deals which Mexico and the United States were in. Of course, he made the famous USMCA, United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, and basically that paid for the wall. So President Trump delivered on that accomplishment alone, and that's one huge thing. Over 450 miles of border wall built. You saw the other day, RSBN had our feed down there, over 811,000 viewers. So the people were excited to see the president deliver on his accomplishments, and that's exactly what he did.
Yes. And plus, this goes very unreported by the mainstream media, but Mexico likes Trump. The president of Mexico, Obrador, he likes Trump. He doesn't support the censorship that big tech has done, that Twitter has done. Many countries find that extremely problematic, such as Germany and Australia and other countries. But if you listen to the mainstream media, they would have you think that Mexicans in Mexico hate President Trump and that they don't like him and that they think he's a racist, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Most rational people understand that borders are important in a country. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. You can't take care of the legal citizens in your country. Wow, there is some loud music coming by right now. As you can see, there are many supporters driving by. We get constantly honked at. There's people lining up. We're about probably an hour and a half to 2 hours away from President Trump arriving in West Palm Beach, and this crowd is only expected to grow, and we are going to try to get you guys interviews as the crowd continues to fill in. So of course we will bring it to you 100% live. And yes, so thank you guys so much, by the way, for supporting Right Side Broadcasting throughout the past 5 years that they have been covering President Trump and his his two campaigns that he ran. We have shown you the truth 100% of the way. When the mainstream media cut away, they wouldn't show you the crowd. They wanted to give you their version of what happened. They wanted to make you believe their narrative. So we really appreciate at Right Side Broadcasting all of your guys' support and helping us get to well past 1 million subscribers on YouTube now. So you guys, we are battling censorship everywhere, so please continue to like and share us on at RSB Network on when Parler comes back. Rumble, now we're on Rumble, where we have a Telegram group. Of course, we have the regular Twitter and Facebook still, but we can't count on those for long, so make sure you guys follow us on Rumble and Telegram as of now.
Of course, and as you know, Right Side Broadcasting Network is predominantly viewer funded, so thank you so much for your support. Your support really helps us to be able to go to all of these events that we go to every week, almost every day sometimes, and that is all because of you. So thank you so much on behalf of all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting. There's a few ways you can do that. You could go ahead and in the YouTube Super Chat, donate through there. You can go through credit card, online, rsbnetwork.com/donate. And then on there also you'll see our Opelika, Alabama address, and you can go ahead and send your donation to Right Side Broadcasting via mail. And of course, one of our great partners who helps keep Right Side Broadcasting on the road is under a lot of scrutiny recently by the mainstream media, by people from the liberal world. You know him very well, great patriot Mike Lindell of MyPillow. So MyPillow and Right Side Broadcasting Network have partnered up, and for a limited time only, When you go to mypillow.com, you can use promo code RSBN and receive up to 66% off your order. And I think that I was talking to Mike the other night in Dalton, Georgia, and he said that's some of the biggest savings he's ever applied on his website. So he's doing that exclusively for RSBN viewers. So use code RSBN when you go to mypillow.com at checkout, and you can save up to 66% off your order. Of course, they have the Giza Dream Sheets, the MyPillow mattress toppers, everything you can name. I think he's even got bathrobes and towels now, so he's got a wide variety of products which you could be saving on, and also helping support Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Yes, it never hurts to spruce up your house a little bit, especially when the company that you can get one of the biggest discounts ever is being canceled. I hear that there's rumors that Kohl's wants to cancel them, Bed Bath & Beyond wants to remove MyPillow from their stores. So yes, make sure you guys support MyPillow, support Mike Lindell, who's been such a loyal patriot to President Trump. He's never left his side. He has never cast any doubt on the president, and he's supported the America First movement for so long. And Mike Lindell has such an amazing story too, and such a good testament. So support us, support Right Side Broadcasting by using our code RSBN at checkout on mypillow.com.
Great, so let's talk a little bit about cancel culture, right? Okay. This is a big thing that's been happening across our country in the last 4 years. A little bit before that, too. We really started to see it during the Obama administration. And it's kind of the idea that if you believe something different than what these big companies believe, these big monopolies, as in schools, companies, you name it, really anything, they're going to cancel you, and they're not going to allow you to be able to use their service, be able to attend their schools. They want to revoke your degree. What are your thoughts about that? How do you see us combating that moving into the future?
I think the best thing that we can do is to support small businesses and companies who support America, and they want to put America first, and they don't want to cancel us. So the best thing we can do is to build our networks, get to know each other, and continue to, I want to say fight for our movement, but I think I'll use terminology stand up for our movement these days, since you'll be canceled if you use certain terminology.
If you use the word fight.
You can't say fire, they think you're inciting violence. So just want to be very clear that that is not what we were discussing at all. So yeah, cancel culture is a very tough issue, and I think one of the worst places is in colleges. You can't have a conservative outlook on life, or else your college professor might grade you down, or you face political persecution on campus. You might not be able to start a club on campus, and all these things that they want to do to you. And I think also part of the issue is we have to put more pressure on our elected officials to take on that fight for us, because the way it works is that the teachers' unions control things in our education system. So the way we put pressure on the teachers' unions is by putting pressure on the politicians. So it all comes back to grassroots activism, and that's something that the left is much better than the right at doing.
Absolutely.
Way better. We can learn from them. So we need to figure out how to do it ourselves and how to build our own networks.
And the left unifies behind a candidate. We've seen that time and time again as we go through history. Really, the left will go down line 100%. The Republicans, they like to go 25-75, 50-50.
Yeah.
They don't like to unify. I got to give props. I got to give credit where credit is due. The Democrats, they've got their ducks in a row. The leadership has their people in control, and things are always voted the same exact way depending upon which way leadership wants it to be voted. And I can't say the same for Republican leadership. Frankly, I think you failed us, and I'm very sorry that that's the case, and in a lot of cases you failed the president too, because you couldn't pull together the votes that were necessary. So I would highly recommend to all the people who are watching, get involved with your local congressional races, in your Senate races, help campaigns wherever you can, because that will determine, like I said earlier, that will determine the future of our country, because the legislatures are so important. It's more than just the executive branch. If we have the executive branch but we don't have the legislatures, well, it's kind of just a lost cause. And, it's not really worth talking about, but if Trump had become, remained in office, which he's not, that's very clear, and we had lost the Senate and the Congress, it very well could have been a chance that he would have just been impeached anyways. So that's why it's so important moving forward that you work so hard and you continue to support our movement like crazy. And like Grace said, we're not going to use the F word, but but it's important for you to support our movement like crazy, because that's going to determine the future of our country moving forward.
Yes, and I just want to comment on what's going on around us real quick again, because for those of you who are tuning in, we are live in West Palm Beach. We are here to send President Trump off back home. So we are going to show you the motorcade. We will be able to, hopefully he waves. I want to get a little wave from President Trump on the motorcade, because, you know, that's what he did at the December 6th rally in D.C. And that was just like the sweetest moment, because he looks so happy with his Make America Great Again hat on. And I want to see that smiling President Trump. I would hate to feel that he is not optimistic, so I hope we get a little wave for you guys. That would be such a good moment. But yeah, there's a lot of dedicated Trump supporters in the Palm Beach County. Even though Palm Beach County is actually very blue, they are very deeply Democrat for some reason, and I don't know why that is. I guess it's just South Florida. But it's interesting that Mar-a-Lago is here. And so there's a lot of people who have very interesting cars. The Trump train is here in Palm Beach County. So you guys just saw the one go by. So hopefully we'll get some more sights for you guys. We'll see.
Of course, I'm going to go ahead and break down actually what happens here, how this kind of whole process works out. So if you look down the road here, that's headed west in Palm Beach County. This is Southern Boulevard and Main Street in Palm Beach County. If just over that bridge, there's I-95, and on the other side is Palm Beach International Airport, where the president will arrive. He'll get out of the plane. During non-COVID times, there's usually supporters in a pin there waiting for the president to hopefully come down, shake some hands, but that has not been happening recently. I was at one of his last landings that he did here on behalf of Right Side and was covering it, and there was no supporters there. But what he's going to do is he's going to get in his motorcade. He'll come east on Southern Boulevard, right over that bridge, and he'll make his way towards Mar-a-Lago, which is just on the other side of that overpass. That goes over some railroad tracks there, but you head about 2 or 3 minutes more east after that overpass, and you'll be at the President's Estate and Country Club Mar-a-Lago. So that's what's going to happen. The president will drive by here. We're on the south side of Southern Boulevard. The president usually sits on the passenger side of the car. So on his way to Mar-a-Lago, you will hopefully be able to get a shot from him. In my past experiences, the president does slow down a little bit. He tells Secret Service to pump the brakes as he drives by so that he can really get a good look at all of his supporters and give them a wave. And I don't think he's too concerned. I mean, he's inside of a car that's heavily protected with a ton of cars around him. And then usually police will line up on the street to stop the supporters from going into the street, or anybody who really might want to jump into the street while the motorcade passes by. So as the president does pass by, we're going to give you the best shot that we possibly can. Obviously, usually there's some barriers, some police officers, or whatever the case might be, but we will continue to try our best to get you a good shot, and I can promise you, you will see the motorcade pass by on its way to Mar-a-Lago from Palm Beach International Airport.
Yes, and yeah, I don't think he's afraid at all. Florida doesn't have a rioting problem. They don't have a protester problem, and I think that's because Florida has some of the toughest anti-rioter laws. They've been very pro-law and order here in this state, which is led by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis really followed President Trump's calls for law and order here throughout the last year, the summer of riots, all the BLM activists and stuff. And President Trump truly has been a law and order president. It's not that he is racist. It's not anything to do with that. It's about the fact that people commit crimes. They should be held accountable, no matter what side they're on. So, they're so loud. The honking is real, and that's. I think that person just looped around actually. So we can expect to hear more of this as people continue to fill in here. So yeah, President Trump has been such a law and order president. He's been very pro-military, like he said in his send-off speech at Joint Base Andrews. He has rebuilt the military. He added a 6th branch to the military, Space Force, which is here.
That is a massive accomplishment.
Right.
It's huge.
That alone is a massive accomplishment. It's very important for our national defense, especially moving into the future. He's very forward-thinking. He thinks about how we can compete with other countries like China and Russia in the space. So that's pretty crazy. He's just accomplished so many wonderful things for our country, and I think we're forever grateful. And how can we repay the president who didn't even take a salary?
Right. we can't repay him in any way because what he's done for us has been so great. And I just want to kind of take a moment to highlight that he didn't take a salary for 4 years. I mean, that's over 1,000-something days, you know, and he went through the ringer in the media every single day. Him and his entire family under investigations, impeachment hearings. The media was just so absolutely brutal to him, and then the people in D.C. were even worse. He went there to drain the swamp, and it scared them, and it put the fear of God in them. So they said, we need to do everything we can to get rid of this guy as soon as possible and as fast as possible. Obviously, they failed multiple times. They tried the Russia hoax. They tried the Russian collusion. There was no obstruction, no collusion, right? But they tried anyways because they wanted him gone. But that man was there. The President of the United States, President Donald Trump, was there, not collecting a salary. Every single day he went to that Oval Office, he worked for us for free. He didn't need the money. That's not why he was doing it. He didn't need the power. He was a New York City billionaire real estate developer who had everything he wanted in life. He didn't need any more. He didn't need the planes or the helicopters. He already had his own. We saw that in the 2016 campaign. So when you really think about the magnitude of that he went there, and for 4 years went through all of that for free. He did it for us. And that is what the mark of a true leader, I think, is. And that's why I'll say President Donald J. Trump is the greatest president that our country has had in modern history.
Yeah, I always say he's the greatest president of all time, but we can't really compare him to George Washington or, Abraham Lincoln, people like that. It's kind of hard to compare him to. But yeah, so in modern history, he is the greatest president we have ever had. Everything he has done has been for the people. He did so many things for the poor in this country, people who live under poverty. He brought a historic amount of people to the middle class. So he didn't make the rich richer and the poor poorer like the left would do with their policies. He expanded the middle class and he made jobs. He made an unprecedented amount of jobs. Actually, I think it was in 2019 he added more jobs than experts predicted he would do in his entire presidency, and that was only in 1 year. So he has truly been the jobs president he always says he would be. And he has also created the greatest economy we've ever seen. He lowered taxes. He also made amazing trade deals for the United States, as in the USMCA, which is what Philip was talking about earlier. But he has also pioneered a few very important things that go very underrated and underreported. He's combated the opioid abuse problem in our country, which was becoming one of the leading causes of death before he took office. He also combated human trafficking at an unprecedented level, resulting in hundreds of arrests nationwide throughout the past few years. He has also taken on criminal justice reform. He pioneered criminal justice reform, and he has just... That's unprecedented, because the media would tell you that he's a racist president who, he hates minorities, but in fact he established permanent funding for HBCUs, historically black colleges, universities. So he has done so much for all Americans, and that's what makes him such a great president. We don't have a president who's he doesn't play identity politics. He doesn't play the politically correct game. He plays the game of telling the truth, and he will work for the people. And that is just, I can't thank him enough. So I am so honored to be here with Right Side Broadcasting to be reporting on his send-off. There's nothing I would rather be doing right now than sending off our great president.
Of course, and you talk about the opioid problem in 2015, 2016, around that time. That was another big thing that the president talked about, along with immigration, which I said was one of my favorite accomplishments of the president. They kind of went hand in hand. They were lockstep together. The drug problem, specifically opioids, but the drug problem coming from the southern border into our country was a big problem. So he said, well, let's kill two birds with one stone, like a true businessman that he is. He thought, well, if I can knock out one, I can knock out two things, and it would save a lot of time. And of course, that's what he did. And, the First Lady of the United States, who still is the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, she did a fantastic job with her Be Best campaign. And as someone who's around seeing what's going on in the White House, Be Best has really been a great initiative to support children. She's always said that she's very passionate about children. She loves children, and it's something that she's always had a desire for, and so that's what Be Best was, to promote, you know, good values and stop bullying and work on the opioid problem, because children are actually affected by the opioid crisis when their parents are abusers of opioids. So thank you to the First Lady as well. I know often those things don't get recognized. The President, you know, obviously takes a lot of the media attention, but not only has the media not been fair to the President, but the media has been not fair to the First Lady. And Grace, you follow the First Lady a lot. Go ahead and share a little bit with us, you know, some of the things that you think's been so great about her that if it was, say, Michelle Obama or Jackie Kennedy, would have been reported differently.
Well, like you said, it's been so important, her initiative. Her, and I'm going to also loop in Ivanka Trump on this issue too, because both of them have fought for families in America. President Trump, because of their help, has been able to double the child tax credit, provide increased paid family leave for people who have newborns or they want to just spend more time with their family, because in America we work. That's all we do. We don't, corporations don't really value our family time. So President Trump and Ivanka Trump and Melania Trump have truly done a lot to help the families in this country be able to make stronger connections. But another thing that's also important about Melania Trump is how classy she is. That is one thing that I don't think we would have gotten from someone, former First Ladies perhaps. So it's just important. You know, the left wants to say Trump wasn't presidential. He didn't do the right things. He's very brass, and they say all these things about him. But Melania Trump has been nothing but class and grace.
Definitely
and
a good counterpart to the
Yes.
president. You know,
Yeah.
balances it out.
Definitely a good counterpart to the president. Definitely balances it out, kind of like Mike Pence does for President Trump. He needs these calm people who are less brash than him. But yes, Melania Trump has been just an amazing role model, and I think that's something we need in this society where we promote so much degeneracy in our music and our entertainment industry. She's truly been a shining example of what it means to be a lady. So I love that for all the young women in America who are looking up to the First Lady.
Of course, absolutely. I want to take a second to talk about the mainstream media. Since we were saying how unfair they've been to the president, how unfair they've been to the First Lady, it's really a shame how the mainstream media has treated our president and our First Lady, who have done nothing but try to help this country and help all the people in this country, put America first. Donald Trump did not run on a Republicans first agenda. He ran on an America first agenda. And the mainstream media clearly doesn't like that agenda, because they did nothing but attack him and his wife and his family for 4 years in a row. And I know Brian has talked a ton about the mainstream media. Someone who was in the mainstream media like Brian knows the inside of the business. And I kind of hear Brian's battle cry when he talks about it, and it makes me passionate about it too, because it's so unfair how they have treated him. But what they don't realize is that Trump was their golden goose for ratings. Trump was the golden goose. President Trump was the golden goose as far as media coverage went. And I do not know, to the people who are watching this in the mainstream media, I do not know what you're going to do for the next 4 years when you have sleepy Joe Biden as president of the United States, because every question you're going to ask him is going to be sleepy. Everything he's going to do is going to be sleepy. There's going to be no pizzazz. There's going to be no wow. There's going to be no excellence of the president of the United States like you had with Donald Trump. So to my friends in the media, please be ready for 4 long years of boring news where it's not going to be the same. It will not be the same at all. Your ratings are going to be way down. And frankly, I'm sorry for you. Not really, because frankly, they deserve it.
Yes, the Biden administration is probably going to be pretty boring, but there's all this unknown. We don't know what's going to happen with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, or who's actually going to be holding the reins behind the scenes. We don't know what's going to happen, so perhaps there will be more fireworks than we thought there would be, and at this point I wouldn't expect anything less on based on the way 2020 went, and also the first 2 weeks of 2021. It's been a crazy last 6 months, to say the least.
I do want to add something to that.
Okay.
During the campaign, there was one great moment which sticks out to me so much more than any other moment, is when Joe Biden walked into an ice cream store, and he walked out and he's got his ice cream cup in his hand, and he's walking, and they say, Joe, what flavor is your ice cream? Well, that's real tough journalism. I don't think if Donald Trump walked out of an ice cream store, they would be asking him what flavor his ice cream was. No, they'd be railing him in the media because he decided to go get ice cream, maybe take a break from being the greatest president in the entire country's history. So that's just one point. Also saw a recent interview where Kamala Harris was getting asked about her sneaker game. Look, I appreciate the question. I like sneakers, whatever, but there are bigger questions that need to be asked here, folks, than why you wear Converse or Chuck Taylors. So that is something that we should be concerned about, is journalistic integrity within our country. Those are just two examples. There is plenty more across the entire campaign of when things are not reported fairly, and we know that that has been a key issue of the president's, is the fact that the media will not be fair. And, you know, that's why we here at Right Side Broadcasting are doing everything we can to be fair to President Trump, because in the midst of a pack of wolves in the media, there needs to be some calm. There needs to be some people who are going to be fair, and they're going to report the truth, and they're going to give the president a voice, because they won't do it in the mainstream media. And so that's just some of my frustrations. I'm sure you have some of the same. I want to go ahead and now segue to Grace. She's going to be doing some interviews, and I'll pick up some interviews as well.
Okay. Thank you, Philip. I am here with Ian. Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Just another day celebrating Donald Trump and welcoming him back home here in Palm Beach.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy last 4 years. You obviously look like you've been a Trump supporter for a while. So what's your story? Why do you support President Trump?
Oh, that's a long story. I support America, borders, language, culture, God, family, country. I was a big campaign worker and supporter for Ron Paul in 2008, 2012. Trump took up a mantle of truth. He took up a mantle of standing for America and standing for the things that we believe in, that we've all seen stripped away over the years. And I was a big supporter back in, I would say 2016, when I saw him destroy the narrative and rip apart the 17 candidates that he was up against. I started to realize that he was really standing up to a position of truth and not another president who's just being forced upon us. You know, it wasn't another selection. It was an actual, true election in 2016.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't think they had to rig that one, so he was never supposed to become president by their standards. So I'm so glad that he was president for the past 4 years. What do you think your favorite accomplishment is?
You know, he stayed true to his word. He was up against everything. $1 trillion media campaign worldwide. I'd say 90+% negative. He had, in a lot of instances, as much as we thought they were the Trumplican party following in his footsteps and riding in on his coattails, a lot of the people who are exposing themselves as rhinos today have been rhinos through and through. They may have rode his coattails to get into office, but they can't fast enough throw him to the curb and try to gain back their two-party, one-party duopoly over us again. It seems to be speeding up on a level that is so clear and blatant right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of swamp rats that just played the game for as long as they had to, and now that the establishment is back in power, they are going to go back to how things were. So, but that said, do you have any optimism for the next 4 years? Like, what's your message of hope?
My message is it's going to be the same, and it's going to stay the same, and it's been the same. They're not going to break our spirit. They're not going to break our will. They're not going to break our back. We don't walk around with anything other than optimism. We're not the people full of fear, and we are also not going to be caught on film today. A tear might be streaming down the average housewife's face inside her home watching Right Side Broadcasting today, but we're not going to be on the ground when Biden gets into office screaming up at the sky, panicking. We're going to move forward, standing for God, country, family, borders, language, culture. We're going to continue the fight. I really firmly believe that a lot of what we have all seen happen is going to be further cemented and institutionalized. And as a result of that, we really need to take this fervor, we need to take this energy, and we need to focus it inward on our sheriff, our local city, our state. We need to take back power and stop focusing on these federal elections as if they are going to save us, because right now we've already seen how that played out.
Yes, that is such an important message. It's what we've been talking about all morning, actually. People need to harness this MAGA movement and really go to their local officials and get involved in their communities. So that's such an important message.
It's essential. It's essential. Thank you for interviewing me.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So here we are still awaiting President Trump. Let's see what time it is. It's 9:47, so about an hour or so we should, you know, we're guesstimating about an hour, 20 minutes, maybe less. So we will see the president, like Philip said, he will be coming from that way and riding across the bridge, and we hope that he slows down and gives us a little wave and a nod and to his supporters, which I know he will. He's not going to just leave us in the dust. He's been here for us for the past 5 years, essentially, since 2015, when he first came down that golden escalator in Trump Tower, New York City, and announced he was running for president. That was such a historic moment, and every moment since then for President Trump has been historic. Everything he's done has been bigger, better, unprecedented. He's done things that nobody has ever done for the American people, and frankly, nobody ever wanted to do. One thing I always talk about is how he took on Big Pharma. For such an industry that's so powerful, he took it on head first. He said, you're going to lower your drug prices. You're going to give us the same rates that similar, comparable Western countries get. There's no reason why Americans should be paying more just because we're America. We've been getting ripped off by Big Pharma and people in power who have their agendas, as well as other countries for years. One of the biggest things President Trump talks about who ripped us off is China. China took advantage of us for so long because we let them, honestly. I don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes in the establishment, but they seem to have a pretty good relationship with China, who's one of our biggest adversaries and most obvious adversaries. So President Trump ended that. He increased tariffs. He improved trade around the world for the United States, and that's part of how he created such an amazing economy. So hopefully we continue to feel the effects of what President Trump did in office. Hopefully it doesn't go away just like that, but the most important thing right now is that we continue to focus on the economy, and hopefully the next administration uses the MAGA doctrine, whether they call it that or not, whether they credit it or not. We need to restart our economy. We need to reopen our small businesses, and small business optimism hit record highs during President Trump's term in office, because they understand he's a businessman. He's going to do everything he can to help small businesses and help people improve their livelihoods. And that's the American dream, right? To improve your livelihood, get a better life for your children and things like that. So it's truly an unprecedented movement, and like Ian said when we were just interviewing him, it's so important that we harness that energy and use it to continue our movement. We can't just let the buck doesn't stop here. Okay, I can tell you right now that all these patriots are not just going to go sit at home, because we are motivated. We are going to step up our game as far as grassroots activism goes. We are going to continue to stand up for our beliefs, and we're gonna be heard. We will be heard. So we must continue to put pressure on our elected officials and elect true patriots into office, people who support the Constitution. And what's crazy is that how the Constitution has become a right-wing thing and not a left-wing thing. The Constitution should be an everyone thing. All sides on the aisle should want free speech for everybody, no matter what your political beliefs are. If you want to believe in aliens, that's okay, but you should have the freedom to say that you do. We can't allow companies like Twitter and whatnot to censor us and silence our beliefs. We're not going to let it happen. Looks like police is moving. Oh, we're getting onto the grass, so I'm not sure.
Yes, sir. Got to go into the grass.
Okay, so anyway, looks like they're just getting a little organized here. There's a lot of people lining up here now to see the president, and they're doing their best. We support law enforcement, we support the police, so we're gonna respect what they want to do right now. And oh, someone's right behind me. Okay, so Philip.
Yes.
What do you think about President Trump coming in here so soon. Do you think he will wave at us?
I think there's a very good chance that the president is going to definitely make it known that he sees his supporters. I'm not sure the extent of what hello or goodbye that we're going to get from the president, and the first lady obviously will be in the limousine car with him. But I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. Speculation is kind of not really my thing. I really don't like speculating, and I just like going off the truth and going off objective facts. And I kind of got ripped on Twitter the other day for that, because I was going off objective facts that, unfortunately today was going to be the last day of President Trump's term, and it's sad. It's really, really sad. So I don't like to speculate anything. I take things for how they are, and kind of what you see is what you get is how I think of it. So I'm not sure what we're going to see, but only time will tell. And as soon as it does happen, we're going to go ahead and be sure to bring you the coverage. Like I said, there was going to be some barriers and stuff. You see that now getting set up by the police officers here. West Palm Beach Police Department is setting up barricades to ensure that people don't go into the road when the motorcade is passing by, for our safety and for the president's safety as he passes by. So we're trying to kind of reconfigure here. Bear with us as we move around and people move past us. So definitely interesting. Things are firing up here. The president will be here in a short period of time, and this is definitely a sign that things are starting to move here now. The president is starting to come around town, and things will start happening here. So I've done these before, and when things start moving like this, you see increased police activity, you're going to know that things are happening. And also, one more important thing to note, the road behind me here, Southern Boulevard, when the president does land and the motorcade is on its route, the road will be completely blocked off. You won't see any pedestrian traffic on this road. It will be completely cleared for the few mile stretch from Palm Beach International Airport all the way down to Mar-a-Lago, which is just on the other side of the Intracoastal here in West Palm Beach on Palm Beach Island. So when traffic gets real quiet, you don't see any pedestrian traffic out here, you will know that the president is en route to Mar-a-Lago. Definitely see, look at this, you got Emergency Field Force Police West Palm Beach. That's massive. It's a big old truck, probably filled with police officers, so things are getting serious around here. And I don't know, Grace, this is an exciting time to be alive. We're getting to see the President of the United States as the President. It's important to note that in past, the President doesn't ever leave Washington as the President. He leaves as a private citizen who gets to use military aircraft to go home. And so this is definitely something that hasn't happened since the 1800s. Unprecedented, but on par for a Trump administration to do something unprecedented, because
Unprecedented.
Right, that's their entire message. So the president is going to be passing by here as Joe Biden gets inaugurated. I think the plane is going to land when Lady Gaga is going to be singing the national anthem in Washington, D.C. So it's kind of an interesting thing. And, the president will pass by here, and the first lady will pass by here, and they will be first lady and President Donald Trump when they pass by. So unprecedented, but they will pass by here still acting in their office. And I did hear that the president will have the nuclear football, and he'll have the nuclear codes and all that still with him. He'll have the biscuit, which is the card he keeps in his pocket. But at 12:01, when Joe Biden does become the President of the United States, those nuclear codes will get deactivated, and there will be a second nuclear football in Washington, D.C., waiting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as they make their way to get to work in the Oval Office.
Yes, so I can't believe it's come to an end, honestly. I think his farewell address really solidified it for me, finally. It's just so sad that he will not have another 4 years to continue doing the amazing things he was doing for the American people. And, it wasn't a fair election, and unfortunately that's something that we cannot control. But we can continue to change the trajectory of this country. We started, like President Trump said in his farewell address yesterday, this is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. It only started 4 years ago. We really can't expect to take down the entire Washington, D.C. establishment and break down all the power of these industries like Big Pharma and the military-industrial complex and, things like that. So we really can't expect it to all just go happen in 4 years.
Taking hundreds of years to build,
right.
So gonna
Exactly.
take time to take down.
It's going to take decades and perhaps, hopefully not hundreds of years to, take back to the people. So, but we have a lot of work ahead of us, and I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic. I'm around college students quite often, and I talk to them, and they're just so inspired. They're so motivated. So I think, Generation Z is going to be our ticket to more freedom in this country. We need to reclaim our freedom, because rights are not the same thing as privileges. When you have constitutional rights, those are inherent. They're guaranteed to you by the Constitution. That's not something anybody can take away, because it's your right. Kind of how like on Earth, it's your right to breathe. You can't stop. You do that.
Well, they can arguably, but then it's upon us to take them back.
I'm saying like ideologically, when you're thinking about the constitutional rights,
right.
It's not like they allowed us to do it for a certain amount of time and then they took it away. That happens in places like Germany and the UK. Like the UK essentially is a free Western country. However, they can take away that freedom anytime, and they have no constitution that guarantees them rights. So that's the difference between the United States and other countries, is we do have this amazing binding social contract between the American people and the United States government, and that's the United States Constitution. So everybody should know their rights. I highly recommend everybody go and read their rights. Read the First Amendment, read the Second Amendment. Learn your history. Learn why the Founding Fathers started this country. I talk to a lot of conservatives, and they haven't read the Constitution, and that's something that we all need to know. So I'm very optimistic, and I will continue to work on this movement's behalf every day as hard as I can, because I also want to change this country for the better. So we have a lot of work to do, and Right Side Broadcasting has been such a huge part of that, such an important, crucial part, because without Right Side Broadcasting, would you be even seeing the crowds? You wouldn't be seeing the crowds at Trump rallies. You wouldn't be able to see the election fraud hearings and all the things that we covered. And we're just a tiny company located out of Auburn, Alabama. So we really appreciate all of your guys' support, your financial support, your letters. We read your letters. They make our day, honestly. We talk about how sweet they are and how much we appreciate your support, because it is hard to come out here and do all of this. It's difficult, and it takes a lot of money, so we really appreciate all of your donations. You guys can donate to us personally at www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. We get 100% of the proceeds that go there, but you guys can also donate on the Super Chats. However, YouTube takes 30% of the donations that go there, unfortunately, so we don't get 100%, and we are going to continue showing you everything that President Trump brings. So it's going to be crazy, but we also have to talk about the censorship issue. We went over this a little bit earlier today, but if you're just tuning in now, you guys can follow RSB Network on, we used to have Parler, but I'm going to talk about Telegram. We have a Right Side Broadcasting Network group on Telegram, and also Rumble. We're going to try to upload our videos there when we can. I know we have some issues because some of our videos are so huge. We have 5-hour live stream videos, and it's difficult to upload, but you guys can follow us on Rumble at Right Side Broadcasting Network and at RSB Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. However, you never know what's going to happen with that. So right now, I think we're suspended on Twitter for 12 hours for no given reason. So if we're not tweeting, we didn't put out the stream, that's why. But I know that Liz Willis and myself, we've posted the links. So make sure you guys like and share this stream. Send it to all of your friends and family. Help us get to let's go to 1.5 million subscribers. Let's tell all of our friends and family who you can trust for the news, because we show you the full thing unedited and uncropped.
Right. Grace, it wasn't too long ago we hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was a massive accomplishment.
And then
1.4.
1.4. Okay.
So we're growing fast, and I would say let's try to hit 2 million subscribers. Share this broadcast with everybody you possibly can. Tell them to subscribe to the Right Side Broadcasting Network YouTube. Look, 2 million subscribers is not out of reach, okay? It's very possible for us. And when you connect with us on these platforms, if you're not financially supporting us, that's an easy way to support us, because believe it or not, it goes a long way to help us get our message out. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So if you're just joining us, we're here in West Palm Beach, Florida, waiting for the president's arrival. He's going to be showing up via motorcade along Southern Boulevard here, which is the road next to me. He's going to be headed to the Mar-a-Lago estate with, of course, his his wife, the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, and probably the family will be here as well, I imagine. So there's supporters lined up along Southern Boulevard here, just waiting to see the president. And you can see people with their flags, with their signs, with their hats, with their T-shirts, just waiting to get a little glimpse of the president of the United States. So very cool thing happening here. I myself have had the opportunity to see this happen numerous times here in West Palm Beach, to see the president go by. So it's almost like every time is the first time when you see this stuff happen. It's really incredible. You see the president of the United States. Like I was telling Grace earlier, this is the first time in over 100 years, since the 1800s, that something like this has happened, where the sitting president does not attend the inauguration. Truly unprecedented, but that is on par, like I said, for the Trump administration, because they have broken every rule, basically, as far as the norms go, and frankly, that's why we elected him, to do so. So the president will be passing here as president of the United States, flying in on Air Force One as President of the United States. The only reason why it is Air Force One is because he's on board the aircraft. Typically, when they get on the helicopter at the Capitol steps and then they get on the plane, it is not Air Force One anymore because the new president has been inaugurated. But Donald Trump and President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania will be passing by as President and First Lady. So you're going to be witnessing history here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, is for the first time in over 120 years, likely more, something like this will be happening, and you have a front row seat to it because of Right Side Broadcasting Network, and we're here on the ground. So thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. You are witnessing history here today. We are covering history. We don't know that next time something like this is going to happen. Like I said, truly unprecedented, and we are here in West Palm Beach, Florida. So it's amazing to see everything that's happening here today. Trump signs still on the pole, the power poles, people out here supporting the president. Every car that has passed by has pretty much given a honk. I think there's only been one hater I've heard pass by. So the support here in this part of the town is overwhelming for the president of the United States. And who knows what will happen with the president going forward in the future. Obviously today his term ends at 12 o'clock. And it's sad. None of us wanted to see that happen. That's certainly not the result we were hoping for. But we don't know what the future looks like for Donald Trump. We can't speculate that. Certainly that's up to him. But he said basically something along the lines of, we'll be back. You'll see us here again. Grace, what was the exact quote? What was the words he said? He said, President Trump, he said, you're going to see us again soon?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Sorry.
I know Grace did a great Instagram post, which I happened to notice in between me being off camera, and it said,
"Goodbye, we love you, we will be back in some form," he said.
We'll be back in some form. So, some form, who knows what that is? I certainly can't tell you. I'm done speculating things. I stopped speculating after November 3rd, okay? I was kind of speculative leading up to then, but since then I've stopped speculating. I go solely based on facts and on objective facts. So I'm not going to speculate anymore. Who knows how he'll be back and what form he'll be back, but he said he will be back. So we could take those words for what they are, and I will allow you to decipher what he means by that. But certainly an exciting day here, witnessing history as the greatest president of our lifetime and modern history of the United States of America is going to be passing by here to finish off his term here in Palm Beach, Florida, at his Mar-a-Lago estate. So truly something incredible. And, you know, as we think back of what the Trump administration has accomplished, the Trump message, really, make America great again, is a universal message. It does not apply to one single person. It does not apply to one man or one president. What it is a blueprint for how candidates should be laying out their platforms moving forward. Donald Trump has shaken up the Republican Party. He has shaken things up like never before in our country's history. So what he did was he laid out a blueprint for candidates moving forward, for congressional candidates, for mayoral candidates, for Senate candidates, for presidential candidates. If you want to run in the Republican Party, if you want to be a part of the GOP, and have the establishment of the GOP and be a true conservative, well, then you're going to have to go off the MAGA blueprint or the America First blueprint, which Donald Trump has laid out. And we don't know. Maybe Donald Trump will make a 2024 presidential run. We cannot say for certain at this time. He hasn't said that. But what he certainly is going to be sure is that the person who has control as the nominee in 2024 will have that America First, that MAGA blueprint as part of their campaign. Look, Donald Trump, whether you want to believe it or not, he is the leader of this party, by far. I was in a car the other day. I was in a car the other day, and I was talking to somebody, and they said Mitch McConnell is the leader of the Republican Party. Now, while that may technically be true, that he has the most seniority within our party, it's actually false. Donald Trump is the leader of this party by far, okay? And any other claim is ridiculous, and it is false, okay? Donald Trump is the leader of this party. He has control of the way people will vote in this party because what he has done for the people. He has delivered results, unlike Mitch or any of them have done their entire terms combined. So Donald Trump is the leader of this party. Don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. And that is clear just today by all the people who have showed up here. If Mitch McConnell was coming by in an SUV, I don't think this many people would be lined up. You might have one or two, if that. No. So there's not going to be the support for Mitch that there is for President Trump. And we support President Trump 100% here at Right Side Broadcasting. Grace, go ahead and tell us a little bit of what your thoughts are about the atmosphere here today. I mean, really, it's something that is like incredible. I've never seen this for any other person. Like, there's people all over the place here, and it's only going to get more busy as time moves forward.
Yes, it's only going to get more busy, and I love the atmosphere here. These are the true patriots who have been here for the past, I don't know how long every single person has supported President Trump, but I can assume that it's been a while and that they're dedicated. You know, they're going to send President Trump off. Even if I was not reporting for Right Side Broadcasting, I would be here sending the president off because he means that much to us and that much to our country. He has worked relentlessly, and he does not deserve the hate that he's gotten. So anyway, that said, the atmosphere is amazing. It makes you feel so good. But I hear someone over here in a truck, and they have a whole bunch of Trump flags and thin blue line flags. They're playing his playlist, his rally playlist. So just memories, you know, of all the rallies that we've been to, and it's been a lot of rallies, you guys, but I also heard God Bless the USA, and that song to me, it always gets me. Whenever President Trump walked out to God Bless the USA, whenever I hear it now, all I think about is this country and the American dream and, you know, all of our freedoms. This is the most free country. This is the country so many people have fought and died for. So many of our military service members and law enforcement officers and people who died serving this country. So we owe it to them to honor this country and to fight for it. Honestly, that's the least we can do is to fight for it politically. So we need to continue to.
Of course, metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically, you know, I guess I should clarify. When I say fight for Trump, I'm not saying go and, you know, literally, physically fight. But what I am saying is to go out and get involved in your local elections. Become poll watchers. Apparently, we need more GOP poll watchers since, you know, we saw what happened in November, and we can't allow that to happen again. So that is the one thing we need to safeguard more than anything else, in my opinion, in this country is our elections. Because without free and fair elections, we will never accomplish the change that that we want to. The majority will never actually rule if we do not safeguard our free and fair elections. So it is so vital that let's become poll watchers. Let's volunteer. It's one day of your time. They actually pay you pretty well. So anyway, midterms are coming up. They're coming up. They'll start campaigning for midterms probably by the end of this year. So figure out who's running. Back the candidates that support freedom. You know, we need to do these kinds of things. We have to do the hard work, and it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of patience, but we can do it, you guys. We cannot let this MAGA movement go to waste. We have so much energy, and we have so much love, honestly. We have so much love in this movement. You know, I've heard rallies described by many people as like going to church. It's like you're around all the people who they want the same thing that you do for this country. They love you no matter who you are, what race you are, what gender, anything like that. This is truly the diverse party, the party of diversity, and President Trump has accomplished so much for all minorities, particularly throughout the past 4 years. He reached historically low unemployment rates for blacks, Hispanics, and Asians, and a 65-year low for women. So he always says, I can't forget about the women. So all these groups that the left says they support President Trump has done more for them than anybody else. So we're going to continue fighting for that, and we're going to see what happens over the next couple of years. I'm not losing faith, and you guys shouldn't either. I get a lot of messages on Instagram of people, they feel so down. But the thing is, that's never going to get us anywhere. We cannot feel sad, and President Trump isn't going anywhere. Like he said earlier, he is going to come back in some form, but we can't wait for the day. We can't wait for the day he comes back. We have to keep working. He taught us how to work, if we're being honest. He taught us what it takes in order to accomplish the things we want. So we need to learn from him. We don't necessarily need to be as, up front or like in your face about it like he was. However, we can do it your own way, but we still need to use those tactics to accomplish the change that we want to see peacefully.
Of course. And no way, in any way, does Right Side Broadcasting condone political violence. We're just going to put that little disclaimer out there. The president, it's not a virtue of the president either. He said that yesterday in his speech. He does not condone political violence of any form, because then at that point, what does that make us? It makes us just as bad as the people who act on political violence, and we saw how that terrorized our cities all summer long. We certainly do not want that. So in no way are we actually saying fight or anything like that. We're just saying be 100% supportive of the cause of which you're following.
Do the work.
Yeah, do the work. Put in the work. Look, it's not fun to knock doors and make phone calls. I did it in the state of Florida for President Donald Trump. Before I was working for Right Side Broadcasting, I had a job working for the campaign here, and I was knocking doors and making phone calls for the President of the United States for the campaign. And so it wasn't fun. It was hot here in the summer. You would sweat, and you would just not enjoy it. It's not something that's fun. But you know what? The cause is great. And because of our efforts, the president got a 2% gain in this state. That is millions of votes here in this state.
Hispanic votes.
Absolutely.
In Miami, that's what, really solidified his win in Florida, was that he gained so many Hispanic voters, Venezuelans, Cubans, people who know what it's like to live in a socialist society. The left likes to sugarcoat it and say, oh, it's democratic socialism, therefore it's different. But what we say to that is, you only get to vote democratically for socialism one time before you can't vote for anything again. So it only takes that one time, and you never know these days. I don't trust politicians. I don't trust the people in the government to only do this nice version of socialism, because people are people, and power is very influential, and you can't trust these people to not just go for a full-on power grab once they get a little hint of power. We saw what happened over the last 2 weeks when after Pence and Congress certified the election for Biden. We saw what big tech did. They got just a little glimpse of power, and then they just went overboard.
They lashed down really hard.
Yeah, they lashed down really hard, and they were saying, okay, now we're going to be in the White House? Okay, then we're going to censor all of you. We're going to silence all of you. And it's not going to stop at Inauguration Day like Jack Dorsey was shown by Project Veritas as saying. He was saying this is going to go far beyond Inauguration Day. And that's a scary thought. So we need to start truly taking power, because, we're not slaves to Apple and Google.
Right.
We're not slaves to big tech. So we have a choice. In this country, we have capitalism, and we need to use it to get out of this mess. We need to support other platforms. Even they might be a little less technologically advanced. They might not, unfortunately, be as user interface friendly as Facebook is, or something like that. But it's what we have to do. It's called growing pains. You have to be able to struggle a little bit, and that's such a first world problem. Right. We're over here complaining about big tech censorship, and we're scared to get off a platform just because it's easier to use. You guys, we have to get tougher than that. We have to get way tougher than that, and our freedom is worth that. Our freedom is worth getting on a smaller app that might not be as easy to use. Like, come on. So, but that said, just follow at RSB Network on Rumble. Follow us on, I believe we're making a Gab if we don't have one already. Search it, Right Side Broadcasting Network. And we are also on Telegram. We have a Telegram group. It's really cool. We're fully on Telegram now, so I like using it. It's fun. It's encrypted. So yeah, Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, you guys can find us on all the regular social media platforms. I'm going to call them the establishment platforms because, that's what they are. The swamp platforms. So the swamp outlets. So at RSB Network, of course. And you guys can also donate to us financially. It takes a lot of money and effort to get us to these events. So we really appreciate all of your guys' support. This last 5 years would not have been possible without you at all. We truly appreciate all of it. So you guys can head to our website at www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. And you guys can also send us a check to our physical address in Auburn, Alabama, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. And yeah, so we really appreciate all of your support. And I'll hand it off to Philip so he can talk about our partner.
Of course. Thank you so much, Grace. And if you're just joining us, we're here in West Palm Beach. But one thing I want to talk about right now is our partner, who you've probably seen in the news recently, been a trending social media sensation. Mike Lindell of MyPillow. As you know, he had a sit-down with President Donald J. Trump the other day in the Oval Office to present some information of which I'm sure you know about. I'm not going to go into great detail talking about, but presented him some information on a paperwork, and it blew up all over social media when a White House photographer was able to take a picture of it, who's part of the press pool. So ever since that, the media and all the big tech establishment, big box stores have been trying to cancel Mike. But here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, we are proud of our partnership with him. So what Mike has done is he has set up a promo code for you to use when you go to mypillow.com. Use promo code RSBN, receive up to 66% off your order. And that's really some of the biggest savings he's ever put out on his website. And people are trying to cancel Patriots right now because of their support for our president. We need to support Mike Lindell. We need to support MyPillow because he has supported President Trump and he has supported patriots like us for the last 5 years. He always talks about his famous sit-down meeting with President Donald Trump up in Trump Tower when he was candidate Trump at the time. And he says how he started supporting the president. He had a sit-down meeting with him and he knew Donald Trump was going to be a great president. And because of that, they want to cancel him, and we will not let that happen. So I urge every single one of our viewers, go to mypillow.com, use promo code RSBN, receive up to 66% off your order. Mike has a wide variety of products on there. He's got the MyPillow, the Giza Dream Sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, the dog beds, you name it. Mike's got it on his website. He's even got towels and bathrobes, I think. So he's got a lot of products for you to choose from. He doesn't just have pillows, okay? So use promo code RSBN, receive up to 66% off your order. Patriots support help patriots. And that's exactly what we're going to do by supporting Mike Lindell. And I urge you to do the same. In fact, I need some new pillows. I'm going to be heading over there, getting myself some pillows from mypillow.com. I know Brian probably even has too, because we've talked about that before. It's good for a good night's sleep. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code RSBN. Anyways, if you're just joining us, we're here live in West Palm Beach, Florida on Southern Boulevard in West Palm Beach, just nearly a few miles away from the president's estate. And you'll see here as the camera moves and shows the road, there are patriots and supporters of the President of the United States lined up along the road, up and down. You see over there, there's a crossing. It looks like a bridge of some sort. That actually goes over a set of railroad tracks. And then if you head just a few more paces forward, there'll be a temporary bridge which you go over, and the president's estate will be just on the other side. So definitely very close to Mar-a-Lago right here. And what people are doing is they're trying to get a glimpse of the President of the United States and the First Lady of the United States as they pass by in the motorcade. What they're going to do is they're going to work their way along this road right past here. And in past, they have slowed down. The President has told Secret Service to pump the brakes a little bit. Slow down. Let me wave to the supporters because I want them to know that I have their back. And I have a feeling, I have a gut feeling, I'm not going to speculate anything, that may be the President's message today, is that he wants to slow down a little bit. He wants to let everybody who's here know that he still has their back, even though he will not be in the Oval Office or the President of the United States at 12:01 p.m. this afternoon. So, if you're just joining us, like I said, here in West Palm Beach, certainly a great afternoon here. The weather is beautiful. It's a perfect West Palm Beach day. Big thank you to all the sheriff and the police who are protecting us here. You see, they put up these barriers for our protection, so that way when the cars are going by super fast or the motorcade zooms by, we are protected. So thank you to the people in blue, men and women in blue. You have our support here at Right Side Broadcasting. Me and Grace were talking earlier about all the people who are lined up here. I've done this several times, and a lot of these faces look very, very familiar. I've seen a few people who I've had past encounters with, so there definitely is repeat supporters of the president here, and I can say confidently that people who voted for the president in 2016 are here today.
We love Right Side.
Thank you so much. There are people who supported the president in 2016, and they are here today. As we take a walk through the grass here, showing everybody lined up against these barriers, which are on the sidewalk, for a glimpse of the president and the first lady as they pass by in the motorcade. So we're making our way through the crowd here now, and you can see it's just lined up all the way. So there's definitely a lot of people here today who want to show their support for the president. As I'm walking through some high grass here, you enjoy this view, because the mainstream media is not going to show you this. This is why Right Side Broadcasting really exists, to show you the crowds. The mainstream media would not be showing you this right now. It's only because Right Side Broadcasting is here that you're seeing this. There's no other news company here showing the crowds, showing the people and their support for the President of the United States and the First Lady as they come down Southern Boulevard here in West Palm Beach. So get a good sight, get a good glimpse of the crowd here, because there is still support for this president despite what the mainstream media says. People are here, and they love America. More than anything else. And that's really what this movement has been all about. It hasn't been just about Donald Trump. It's been about America. And that's what all these people here support. So you see a lot of American flags. You see a lot of patriots here who want to show their support. So it's really a great day to be out here in West Palm Beach, making our way to the end of the block, where you'll see it's literally been an entire block of people lined up to support the president and the first lady as they pass by here today. They will be landing shortly. They're expected to land. Original schedule is 11 o'clock. There has been a bit of a diversion because the president took a little bit longer to get onto Marine One this morning when he was leaving the White House. You saw he was a few minutes late getting on there, so it definitely has been a little bit different than what we were expecting. So maybe a slight time change, but stay tuned as we're here, and we will bring you coverage of everything that is happening. We're going to go ahead and make our way back to down by our other crew. We got Will and Grace down there, and they are working hard, talking to people. We're going to get some interviews here very soon. Talk to people about why they're out here today, because it's very important. So continue to support Right Side Broadcasting, because we're the only ones who are out here showing the crowds. We're showing the people, and that's what people want to see. The mainstream media will tell you that Trump is losing his base. That's just not true. That's fake news. That is fake news. But are we surprised? It comes from the mainstream media. So the Trump base is here. A lot of these faces are familiar. I've seen these faces before. People are showing up again and again and again, time and time after time, to see the president. So the president's not losing his base. That's fake news, okay? The president's support is maybe stronger now than it ever has been before. So continue to tune in to Right Side Broadcasting, kind of working our way through bushes here at the moment. My apologies. But you see it here. People are fired up. They want to see the president of the United States. And that's why they're here. So thanks for tuning in. It means a lot. Give us a second to go ahead and get reestablished back in our old space. But you got the mainstream media here. Just saw a camera. And they're not showing the crowds. That's what Right Side does. We show the crowds. They got a single camera angle fixed on the road, but they're not showing you the crowds, and that's what's important, is that people see the support for the president. So that was a little bit of a long-winded thing as we went down there. We're going to pass it over to Grace. She'll tell us a little bit more about what she's been hearing from people here on the ground.
Yeah, so people are here. They're just making sure that the president knows that they're still here for him. They're not going to let the lies of the mainstream media or the radical left deter them from coming out to support him and to making their voice known, because the media would think that we don't exist. We don't exist here. So there's no one who supports President Trump. He's a racist, all this. Only white supremacists and insurrectionists support President Trump, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I'm sure you guys just saw a little bit of the crowd now, but there's plenty of minorities here who support the president. They're obviously not white and they're not supremacists, so if they were, they wouldn't support the president. So anyway, it's just such a good feeling here right now. I hear God Bless the USA playing from a truck over here, which is playing the entire Trump rally playlist. And let me tell you, every time I hear one of these songs from the playlist, I automatically think back to being at a Trump rally. It just immediately takes me there. And it's such a monumental moment in our lifetimes. We've never seen a campaign like this in presidential history. I think that's safe to say. We've never seen tens of thousands. President Trump is like a rock star. He's like a rock star. You know, he's the only politician in American history who can garner hundreds of thousands of people. I think his biggest crowd ever was right before Election Day. It was like a week or maybe a week and a half before, when he went to Pennsylvania, and that's the shot where you see just tens of thousands of red hats, probably 100,000. I think the estimate inside the rally ended up being about 70,000 people. So that's insane. So it was so cool to be able to witness this historic moment. This is truly a movement. I don't believe that, personally, it's my opinion that Joe Biden did not get 80 million votes. He can't get more than 10 people to come to his rally. Remember the big social distanced circles he had where one person would sit in each circle and there was like 6 of them? That is it's unbelievable. Even Obama went and campaigned for him, and it could only pull a crowd of a couple hundred. I mean, it's just insane. The energy that President Trump has in his movement is just unreal. So that's why we're here today in Palm Beach County, in a primarily blue county. There's primarily Democrat base here, surprisingly, but I guess, it is South Florida. So anything north of Palm Beach County, though, it gets pretty red. So Florida it's mostly a red state, and I think people always call it a swing state. I think that's mostly because of the Hispanic vote down in Miami. However, I think times are changing. The closer the left goes to socialism, the more they're going to drive people who came from socialism away. So, like President Trump says, America will never be a socialist country. And I'm going to add to that, we're never going to be a communist country. We're never going to be a globalist country. That's one of my favorite things President Trump has done, was standing up to the global elites. And he tells the American people, you are the elite. You are the elite. He's not going to let people who lobby for the globalists and to ruin our country, to ruin our what we have here. They don't want to let us he does not want to allow the globalists to take away our freedom, and that's what's so important, because they will go for open borders. They will go for socialized medicine and all these terrible ideas that don't work for real people. That's the problem with the government. Oh, it looks like there's some police cars going by. We might be getting closer than we thought we were to President Trump arriving in Palm Beach. Philip said earlier that once you see the police blocking off the roads and more police filling into the area, that's when President Trump is close to arriving. So let's see what time it is. It is about 10:30. Our guesstimate was about 11:20 because his original landing time was supposed to be 11 a.m. So he was a little bit late because he did he did some final remarks after his farewell speech yesterday, which is very solemn. To me, I felt it was a little bit somber, but it was also hopeful. It was optimistic, and President Trump was saying, we need to maintain our American spirit because that's what holds us together. We're a nation of diversity. We're a nation of people from all different backgrounds, whether it's race, religion, creed, financial status, and the one thing that holds us together is that we all support the principles of this country, which are freedom, liberty, justice, truth, all these wonderful things, our belief in God. We are a Christian nation. We were founded on Christian principles, and that's another thing that President Trump has done so well in fighting for. He has restored religious liberty in this country, and that's so, so important. So my point in saying all this is that we have more in common than we do differences. So we might look different. We might have a different religion. However, the things that bring us together are those things that America was founded on. So I have faith in that, and so does President Trump, as he said in his farewell address yesterday. Unfortunately, this is the end of his first term. There may be a second term. We don't know yet for sure, but regardless, it is time for us to pull together as Americans and remember what makes us strong. We're the most powerful country in the world, and we're the freest country in the world. And the American people can't get in our heads and get so down about politics, because things are going to happen, and we have to be able to move with the changes. So we need to be able to adapt. We need to learn. We need to learn from President Trump, learn how to accomplish change. And that's going to be my goal for the next few years. It's going to be to campaign for patriotic candidates. I'm going to talk to people on the ground, because it's so important to have conversations. You need to have conversations with people who don't agree with you. I know it's hard. I understand it's hard. I have friends and family who don't agree with me politically, and it is difficult sometimes, because some people there's certain facts that people don't want to acknowledge, and we have to be able to get past that and help people understand the way we see things, because I think all of us agree that this is an amazing country. We just want the best for it. Now, I think we also agree on many of the problems that we have in America. However, what's different is our solutions to those problems and whether those problems work, or whether those solutions work. So we need to be able to talk to people and find common ground with them. So I'm excited for the next few years. There's definitely going to be changes. We're not going to have President Trump to lead us in the nation. We're going to be under a Democrat-controlled, presidency, Congress, Senate. However, I'm not giving up hope. We can't give up hope. We can't afford to, you guys. Because if you lose hope, you risk giving up, and we're not going to give up. That's why we're here. That's why all these people are here in Palm Beach supporting the president. They're not going to give up either. And I have faith in a county like this that is primarily Democrat I bet there's probably a couple hundred people out here right now. I can't see all the way down. Actually, somebody told me that there's about 5 times the amount of people down at a park past the light. So I'm not sure if we can see that with the camera, but there are tons of people here. And the reason why we're not down there to show you that crowd right now is because we want to show you the motorcade with our spot. We don't want to lose our spot, because people are lined up all along this fence that we are in by the sidewalk. So if we lose a spot, we can't guarantee we're going to show you the motorcade. So we're not going to do that. However, I will describe to you everything that people tell me here. So, somebody told me, they gave me a tip. They said, tell your viewers to research the mayoral race in Wellington, Florida. So I'm not going to say anything else than that, but that they told me that, you guys should know about it. So go look it up on Wikipedia. Look up the mayoral race in the election in Wellington, Florida. So that's a little hint for you guys. But yes, so I see a sign right now that says, "We know the truth," and that's so symptomatic of this movement. We do know the truth, and that's why we're here fighting for the president's policies, because the truth is truth. And the problem with the left is they don't want to admit that there is a truth. They like to have your truth, my truth, all this moral relativism. But no, I think, that's what makes conservatives different, is that they believe there are absolutes. There's a right and a wrong. There is truth. Not everything is relative. So that's the only way you can find solutions to problems. So that's what we're doing. We need to find better solutions, and we need to start uniting as a country. So it's, whether we like it or not, we have been increasingly divided over the last few years, and especially over the last year. Oh my gosh, this pandemic stuff has been absolutely insane. I never imagined the United States of America would be going through things like this, but we're going to restore America. We're going to restore our economy. Again, I'm hoping that the next administration continues the policies of the MAGA doctrine, and that they continue President Trump's economic stance, because we need that to get out of this mess we're in the economy, frankly. So I'm not losing hope. Not losing hope.
Of course, we wish them the best of luck. We don't wish them bad luck, because if they don't do well, then that also hurts us as well. So we wish them the best of luck, truly we do. And we hope that they would continue to carry out policies that are going to put the American people first and help Americans above everything else. So that's really all we have to say about that, but we do wish them luck. And certainly it will not be the the gravity of which President Trump put America first, but hopefully they do decide to put Americans first. If you're just joining us, we're here in West Palm Beach, Florida, along Southern Boulevard, the main drag from the airport to where the president's estate is located, just on the other side of the Intracoastal. You have to take a bridge to get there. So when the president does arrive here, the roads will get real quiet. Things will get super shut off. There won't be any pedestrian traffic. You'll see some police presence start to ramp up, and the president will come by in the motorcade. As for what he's going to do, if he'll stop, if he'll wave, if he'll slow down, we don't know. But certainly in the past, speaking from personal experience, I have seen the president tell Secret Service to pump the brakes a little bit and wait for, just let him wait and wave to people. So we'll see what happens. Certainly an exciting time to be here. Like I said, this is truly unprecedented. This is something that hasn't happened in American history in 150 years, I believe, where the president didn't sit the president did not sit in the new president-elect's ceremony to become president of the United States. So what you're watching right now on Right Side Broadcasting Network is more than just a broadcast. This is American history unfolding before your eyes, because 150 years from now, when something similar happens to this, people are saying, well, the last time this happened was the Trump versus Biden election inauguration, and you get to say to your kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, you were there watching as that happened. The president decided to, in the best interest of his supporters and himself, to go on and do things his way, as he always has, and break the D.C. norms. And so that's why the president will be driving by with the First Lady here today. And it is important to note that when they do drive by, they will still be President and First Lady Trump. Yes. So the nuclear footballs, all the executive power which rests with the president, will be inside that motorcade for about an hour after he drives by, till 12:01, when Joe Biden is inaugurated to be president, 46th president of the United States. So when Donald Trump passes by, you will still be seeing President Donald Trump, and that might be the last appearance you will see from him for today as president of the United States. So certainly keep your eyes open. Take a good look. Be sure to watch. Slow things down. Avoid the distractions during this time, because what this is American history, and we've never seen something like this in our lifetime. So please, I encourage you to really enjoy it.
Yeah, I want to encourage you guys to, and I know this is a very sad day for our, we perceive this as a sad day for our movement. However, there are plenty of things to look forward to, but don't be sad. Don't get down. Be happy that we had the last 4 years, because the way I think about it is we were never supposed to have President Trump. If the establishment had their way, if the mainstream media had their way, we would not have him for the past 4 years. But we did. We got him, and truth be told, he did more in one presidency, 4 years, than anybody has done in 2 terms, 3 terms, maybe even 4. I mean, actually, I think the longest term was 3 terms with FDR. But nobody has done what President Trump has accomplished, and that's what's important to note. So we should celebrate everything that we have seen from this president. We've learned so much from him, not only with the way he deals with things, but as far as the swamp, how things work in Washington, D.C. And we've also learned what can be accomplished in future presidencies. And, presidents always say they can't get something done because of some reason or whatever, but now we know that it can get done. We don't have to believe their lies. Things can get done, and it's up to them to do it. So, people they get these jobs and they think they're just going to live the high life and take our money and just have a good day, and be lifetime politicians. But we're not going to allow that anymore. Like Philip said earlier, this is President Trump's party now. So we're not going to elect people who are going to do anything less than work hard for the American people. And again, not all the change is going to happen in just a few years. It's going to take us decades to get back to how America should be, which is prosperous, a nation of law and order, rule of law. We abide by our United States Constitution, First Amendment, Second Amendment, as long as all those amendments are respected. That is what we want to go back to. We don't want to continue this world of divided ideology that the left has put us in. You know, the mainstream media has been key in that. So I want you guys to think about, you know, next time you see a clip from Fox or a clip from CNN or whatever, don't buy the outrage. Don't act on emotions. Think about it logically and rationally before you go out, because that's what the media does. Their job is to sensationalize. I've worked at a mainstream media outlet before, and you know, that's the job. You know, they all have their biases. Nobody claims to be, well, actually one of them claims to be fair and unbiased, but we all know that that's not necessarily true. But the thing is, we have to be able to think critically about things and think rationally. Let's not act on our emotions. We're not the left. That's what they do. Their outrage culture is their thing. It's not ours. We cannot adopt it. We can, even though as upset as we are about what we perceive to be our freedoms being taken away, we cannot be outraged. We have to continue supporting our beliefs peacefully. So we are going to continue to work for that. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, thanks so much, Grace. And you're 100% right. This is Donald Trump's party. He has control of it. And the media, a lot of people have raised speculation that President Trump may start his own media company. So we will see. Stay tuned, I guess, and see what happens.
Anything's possible at this point, so.
Right, anything is possible. And I remember going to Turning Point USA this last December, and Dinesh D'Souza was on stage, and he was talking about the time that he sat down in the Oval Office with the president, and he said, well, should I not stay in office? What should I do? And Dinesh said, start a media company. People will love it. And he said, really? And he said, yes, do it. So certainly we are not sure what we're going to see from the Trump family moving forward, but what we do know, like I've said time and time again, is that they have laid out the MAGA doctrine for candidates to use moving forward into the future and as they lead the United States and the GOP. I've also heard rumored that President Trump is thinking about starting his own political party called the Patriot Party. So I don't know what's going to happen there. It was rumored on Twitter yesterday that someone inside the White House leaked that information to the press. As far as my personal opinion goes, I think that what we need to do is we need to revamp our party, which we have right now, which has been so successful in the past, and we need to get rid of the swamp creatures in there and reinstall these people, like I've been saying. But that's just my personal opinion. To each his own. If there were a Patriot Party, is something I would consider joining. How about yourself, Grace?
Perhaps it depends on what their values are. I can't commit to anything right away because I know that people have started groups online for a Patriot Party and different things. So, you know, I don't want to, say that I'm with a certain thing if I'm not. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, though. Anything's possible. Trump could start a media company. He could, do all that stuff. But for now, we need to. President Trump, it's interesting that you say, when he drives by, because it's inauguration day, you think Biden is president now. He's not yet, not until noon. So we're going to enjoy the very last moments where Trump will still be the president. When he drives by right here, he will be the president, and Melania will be first lady. So we're going to still see him as president. He won't be a civilian yet. So after, I think that after a few months goes by and we see how things go, then President Trump will make his moves. Excuse me. So until then, let's just try to stay optimistic. We already know that Joe Biden is going to try to pass a lot of radical left agenda items. However, we'll see, because one thing that I know about establishment politicians that we always gripe about is they make all these promises, but they never keep them, right? They do it to get votes. They say, I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do this for you. But Democrats have long been known to just forget about certain communities after promising them stuff. So in one sense, it's terrible, but in another sense, if they're going to make all these radical promises and then not follow through with them because they want to use those same promises again in 4 years when they have to go for election again, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to be mad if they don't keep their promises. However, when it comes to the American people and when it comes to things like stimulus checks and stuff like that, I think it's very important that we get relief out as fast as possible. So we just need to put the American people first. That's the thing, These politicians get so lost in money and power that they don't want to put America first. And Trump's, Air Force One is right in the sky right here. Police officer just let us know about it. It's so nice of her. But Air Force One is flying in to Palm Beach County. President Trump is aboard along with First Lady Melania Trump. After they land, they will take the motorcade down. I'm so glad we got this view of Air Force One, but they're going to take the motorcade down into Palm Beach and cross the bridge, and then that's where we will see President Trump. And I'm hoping for a little wave, just like that moment at the Washington, D.C. rally. But yes, Air Force One. And I hear that it can fly across the United States twice without refilling on gas. So massive plane, beautiful plane. I love that whenever President Trump did his rallies, he would always park Air Force One right behind him, right behind the stage. And I love that. It shows the magnitude of Air Force One and of the presidency and of the American power. You know, we're the greatest country in the world, and I just love seeing Air Force One. So it's always cool to see it land.
And it is worth noting that the airport is only right down the road there, so certainly he's going to be on that plane longer than he was technically supposed to be, just because he wanted to fly by and see his supporters. He's going to actually have to go way down out west, make a U-turn, I'm imagining, and come back towards the airport, because that's not usually the way they come in. They usually fly in from the west, heading east, but he did want to see probably his supporters lined up here along Southern Boulevard. So the president's staying on Air Force One longer than he even has to be on there. And there you go. You just saw it. Air Force One flying over. So that means any minute now, the president and the first lady will be passing by on a motorcade headed to Mar-a-Lago, the Mar-a-Lago estate, where they will spend the final moments of his presidency. I was talking to our other cameraman, and I was kind of like, well, what do you do in your last day as president? Like, you go home and you sit down and take your shoes off and watch TV, or, you know, how does that work? So very interesting, something to kind of think about, like, you know, what is President Trump going to do when he gets home? It'll be interesting to see what he gets to work on. I imagine he likes to stay busy, because someone who's 70 years old does not run for president if they don't want to stay busy, when he did in 2016. Now he's 74, the president, so I imagine he is one who likes to be active. So we'll see what he gets to work on when he gets back to Mar-a-Lago and he's no longer president of the United States.
And he doesn't have Twitter anymore, so he can't tweet to us all like he probably normally would. Right. But I cannot imagine that President Trump would just stop carrying out his presidential duties even 1 minute before he is not president anymore. Right. I am sure that he is doing his job to the fullest extent until the very last second, because that's who he is. He's a hard worker. He wakes up very early in the morning, 4 or 5 a.m., goes to bed at midnight. He's a machine. He doesn't stop working. Even during when he got COVID-19, he did not stop working. So, you know, nothing can stop the man. He's Teflon Don, as a lot of people like to say. They have the flags, and he truly is. Nothing can break him. Nothing can break him, and he lets everybody know it. Whenever the mainstream media and the Democrats try to attack him, he makes it known he will not be shaken, and that's great advice for all of us, I think. Don't be shaken by the current events. Keep fighting. Keep pushing back, because that's how you accomplish change, number one, and that's how you stay positive. And so I bet President Trump will probably have a nice lunch with his family. I bet he'll want to see his grandkids and stuff after all he's been through, and his family's made so many sacrifices throughout this presidency. He has probably missed out on a lot of, his grandkids growing up. His son is 14-year-old son, I think he's 14, Barron. And, there's a lot of things that he's probably looking forward to getting to do now as a civilian and not having to work so hard as president. So we're very grateful for him.
Of course, the president has made a lot of sacrifices during his time in office. I was reading a report recently that said he lost an estimated $2 billion in net worth. $2 billion. Many of us really wish we could even make $1 billion. So he lost double that. During his time in presidency, he didn't take his salary. He certainly has sacrificed a family fortune to be president of the United States, to fight for us, the American people. So thank you, President Trump and First Lady and entire Trump family, on behalf of Grace and I and the whole Right Side Broadcasting family and America, for your sacrifice to our country. It means a great deal, and we know that you didn't have to do it, but you did it anyways. So It means a ton. And hey, if you're just joining us, we're here in West Palm Beach, Florida, along Southern Boulevard, which is the main street headed from Palm Beach International to Mar-a-Lago Estate on Palm Beach Island. We're in West Palm Beach right now, technically. We just saw Air Force One fly over. President Trump will be around here any minute, passing by in the motorcade. And when that does happen, we will bring you live coverage. I'll give you a scoop a little bit of how it's going to happen. If you look behind me here, there's Southern Boulevard heading west. So you see all the cars headed opposite the direction that the camera is. That is heading west, and that is where the president will be coming from Palm Beach International Airport. Air Force One will land. He'll get off the plane, walk down the stairs with the First Lady and the family most likely. He'll head into the motorcade and make his way east to the Mar-a-Lago Estate. He'll come over that bridge. You'll see the motorcade usually led by motorcycle police and other police cars, and then the Secret Service, of course, will have their motorcade vehicles in place. And it will come right by here, and as soon as that happens, our cameras will be getting shots of the president as he passes by in the motorcade. A telltale sign that the president will be coming is pedestrian traffic will come to a halt. There will not be any pedestrian traffic whatsoever passing by. Increased police presence will ramp up around here. They've already put these barriers in place, which is one sign that the president is on his way to his estate. Obviously, we just saw Air Force One fly over. If you missed that, feel free to go back a little bit in the broadcast, and you will find Air Force One flew right over the street here on Southern Boulevard. And the president will drive by as president of the United States still, because Joe Biden does not get inaugurated until 12:01 p.m. when he will be president of the United States. So you will see history. The last time something like this has happened was over 150 years ago, where a president did not sit at the inauguration ceremony for the incoming president. So I've made this point all morning. What you're watching is more than just a broadcast, more than just a YouTube stream. You're actually watching history unfold here in West Palm Beach, Florida. For the first time in 150 years, a president not sitting in the ceremony, and he will certainly pass by in the motorcade, and he will head to his Mar-a-Lago estate to work every single minute up until 11:59 to carry out his duties as the greatest president that this country has had, certainly the greatest in my lifetime and the greatest in modern history. So, like I said, telltale sign, increased police presence will come by, and they're headed down towards the Mar-a-Lago estate, headed east on Southern Boulevard. So it's only a matter of time before the plane lands. The plane did come in from the east and head west. Normally at Palm Beach, when Air Force One comes in, being there multiple times, it comes in from the west and lands in the east. So the president certainly did come because he wanted to see his supporters today on Southern Boulevard, which is right here. So the president's spending extra time on Air Force One with his family, just so he could see his supporters, and his supporters could see Air Force One in all of its glory flying over.
Yes, certainly all of its glory flying over. It's always amazing to see Air Force One because it's so awesome. It's a massive plane. It's carrying the leader of the free world. They always say that about the president of the United States, and it rings true here in this case specifically, because he is fighting for freedom. He is the leader, the free leader of the free world, and he's going to continue. He's going to continue this ideology. He's, gotten so many people to support over the last 4 years. It was a rough, honestly. I remember 2016 just being a nail-biting election. It was just so hard to watch because it was like we just kept watching the states flip, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, are they going to call it? Are they going to call it?" And nobody would call states. The mainstream media could not admit that President Trump was ahead of Hillary Clinton, and that was such a wonderful moment when he did end up winning the election. It was awesome. So,
of course, I just heard West Palm Beach Police say something along the lines of "shut it down," and as soon as they said "shut it down," barriers started getting moved. Police started popping out of every single little part that they could in the street. You see police blocking the roads, going all the way down and all the way up. Like I said, pedestrian traffic will come to a halt, and it basically has at this point come to a halt. Police are getting in place. The sheriff's unit is here getting in place. Motorcycle police are moving people off the street, moving them back. So it is only a matter of time before President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump pass by here in the motorcade. Certainly an exciting time to be alive, to be able to witness this history, which is amazing. And the truck across the street playing God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood makes it all the better, because you really feel like you're at a Trump rally almost with this music. If any of you have had the pleasure of being able to go to a Trump rally, you know that you experience this great vibe coming from the music, and the music really just sets the tone for the entire event. So here, police moving in the street, like I said, and it is a matter of time where we will see the motorcade pop over that hill down there. I'm sure Air Force One has landed and things are probably getting in place. So, like I said many times over and over, people just lined up here to support the President of the United States. See him one last time as president as he passes by in what will be a great motorcade, and one that will always be remembered. I hope that if you have family at home right now, bring your family together. Get your kids and turn on the broadcast and make sure you're sharing it with everyone you can, because this moment is to not be forgotten. This is the moment of the end of one of the greatest presidencies this country has ever seen. So please, I encourage you, share this with as many people as possible. Enjoy this time. Sit down, relax, turn off the distractions, mute your phones, silence your cell phones, and sit together and watch this, because this is truly a historical moment, something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. I'm sure Grace will, and everybody who's here with the Right Side team, and I hope you will too, because this is unprecedented. And when the motorcade does come by, I'll stop talking so that you can really enjoy the moment of when the motorcade comes. But until then, we're going to be here, and we're going to give you as much of a broadcast we can. Usually you'll hear the motorcycle police. They lead the charge in the motorcade. So you hear a loud rumble coming from the west heading east, and you'll see the motorcycle police pop over the hill in a massive gang of bikers, motorcycle police. So when that does happen, that is the telltale sign that the motorcade is on the move and going to be passing here soon. Grace, this is really something that you'll probably remember for the rest of your life. Share a little bit of what your heart is feeling right now in this time.
Honestly, I'm a little sad right now. I'm a little sad. I know I told everybody not to be sad, because I'm trying to tell myself not to be sad right now. But, again, we have to be able to let's enjoy the moment. Let's celebrate the fact that we had President Trump for 4 years and all those great things that he's done for us. Created the greatest economy we've ever seen. He pioneered criminal justice reform. He got lowest unemployment rates for minorities and women. He did amazing things for Medicare. He lowered drug prices. He fought the opioid abuse epidemic. He fought human trafficking. He was the most pro-life president we've ever had. I know that's so important to so many evangelical conservatives, and he established world peace between Israel and the Middle East. That's not exactly something that gets done all the time. Most presidents don't get one peace deal, let alone 4 or 5. He signed the Abraham Accords. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He did so many things that patriotic, conservative Americans support, and really he put all Americans first. It doesn't matter what your ideology was, and that's something to really appreciate. Let's not get lost in the outrage culture. Let's not get lost in the hatred. Let's enjoy this moment as a time where we can reflect on the past 4 years and remember how much he's done and how much he's reminded us of how great America truly is. So this is honestly, it's going to be a historic moment, like Philip said, and just enjoy it. Don't be sad. We have to keep going, and President Trump isn't leaving us. He's not leaving us. That's the thing. He might not be in the White House, but he is still going to be the most influential man in politics and, in America, to be honest. So we're not going to let them silence us. We're not going to let them get our spirits down, because one thing President Trump said in his farewell address yesterday is that we need to keep the American spirit going strong. And how do we do that? We have to stay optimistic. We have to continue the fight. So he's not going to let us down, and we're not going to let him down by giving up and getting sad. So he's going to be rolling in any time now, probably within the next 10 minutes or so. I haven't seen a motorcade before, actually. So I've only seen Air Force One, and I've seen the rallies. I've seen I've seen the beast come into rallies, but I've never had it pass by me. So it's going to be a very exciting moment for you all to see as well. And we're here in West Palm Beach. It's beautiful weather. It's probably about 70 degrees. And so this is his home. This is where he lives. So hopefully we will get we'll get a wave. I want to see a wave from the president. He will, I know he will, because he would not let this moment pass him by. Just like Philip said, he was flying in Air Force One earlier. He didn't have to fly over the crowd, but he did because he loves the people. That's where he gets his energy from. That's his motivator. He loves America. He loves the people. He loves helping others. He's genuinely a caring person. No matter what the media tries to make you think about him, they try to make you think he's a monster, but he's not. He's not a monster. He cares about the American people just like me and like you. He would never let us down. So again, he's not going anywhere. He said, he's coming back in some form. Doesn't give us a whole lot of insight exactly what he's going to do, but we do know that he is going to come back. So, we'll probably give it a couple months and see how things go in this new presidency, and we'll see what President Trump has up his sleeve. He's known for playing 3D chess, and he's not going to stop that now. So his goal is to make America great, and he promised us over and over again throughout all of his rallies that he would never stop fighting for us, the American people. So I don't expect that or predict at all that he's just going to stop now, and as if that was all, just pretend, just to get elected. That's not who President Trump is. So we can fully expect that he is going to continue fighting for us beyond the presidency until his last day. So,
of course, thank you so much, Grace. All very good points that you're mentioning there. Just a matter of time. I'm kind of trying to keep my eyes open to see down Southern Boulevard where the motorcade is, but just a matter of time until we see the president. And I imagine that when he does come by, he'll give waves and he'll give hellos, and he wants to say hi to his supporters because they were the ones who helped get him here in the first place, especially in the state of Florida. Won by 2%, a little over 2% in 2016, won by over 4% this time around. So I would say that Florida is definitely Trump country, as they would say. And when that motorcade does come by, we're going to bring it to you. It's hard a little bit to see past these people, but you will be able to see it when he comes by, and I'm sure he'll be waving and giving hellos to everybody because that's who the president is. He's really a man of the people more than anything. He's one of the nicest people you will ever meet. My first experience meeting the president was like talking to a best friend when I met the president. It was like someone I've known for years and years, and he was the president of the United States, and I was just some 16-year-old kid. So, truly a perfect testament to the president. And I'm sure if he could say hello to every single person who was out here, he would. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. But he is definitely a man of character and a man of great personality. And you will never forget Donald Trump. At least I won't. And his presidency and his personality, because it's one of a kind. President Trump is one of a kind. So
don't speak too soon, because he's going to be very emotional, and he's going to be coming as president for the last time. He may stop and he may talk to a few of us.
Right. He may. Like I said, I'm not.
He talks to everybody.
I'm not going to speculate on what the president is and isn't going to do, because that's totally up to him to do as he wishes. But just based upon past experiences, I'm using that reasoning. But like I said, you may never know what he'll do, because he is the president. He can do whatever he wants, really, when it comes down to it. If he wants to say hi to people, he'll say hi to people. There have been instances down just a little bit headed east. There's an island in between the West Palm Beach and Palm Beach called Bingham, which connects the road to Palm Beach Island. And there used to be supporters out there in 2016, and he stopped when he was president, and he got out and he started shaking their hands. And he got out of the car and he started waving. Because, that's who the president is. He's a man of the people, like I've said before. So, momentarily, if you're just joining us, the motorcade will be passing by with President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump as they head to the Mar-a-Lago estate to spend their finishing time, remaining time in office. So, as soon as it happens, we're going to bring it to you here live on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, thank you, as always, for your support for Right Side Broadcasting Network. As you know, we are almost 100% viewer funded, and it's because of viewers like you we are able to do everything that we do. We're able to send a crew here and show you this today, because the mainstream media is not going to show you this. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they're not out here today. So we're out here, but we're showing it to you, and when it does happen, we'll have it for you. So thank you for your support as always. You can go to rsbnetwork.com/donate to support Right Side Broadcasting Network, and 100% of those proceeds will go to Right Side Broadcasting Network, RSBN, and help us to continue to fund our journey as we travel across the United States to cover this president and many important events which will impact history forever. Of course, covering the right side, which speaks for itself. It's in our name, Right Side Broadcasting Network. And we always said that we'll be the ones to show the crowds, and we're the only ones here today who will show the crowds. So there's some movement now on the streets. This is the first time I've seen a police officer drive by in a little bit, in an unmarked car. So I imagine it's just a matter of time. You see the hill down there, down at the end of the picture. That's west, and the president will be leaving the airport, which is just right down that hill, really, is what it comes down to, and headed this way. So I don't know what the holdup may be. I can't necessarily put my finger on that, but when it does happen, we will have it for you. I don't know, there's some movement coming over the hill right now, so that, I believe, is the president's motorcade. I'm going to go ahead and get off the mic for now and just let you enjoy the historical moment that's happening here.
Can we start cheering now? That's not them?
It's just the beginning. It's not them yet.
That's not them?
Just a wave of people.
All right, so it's just a matter of time. You see Mr. Oh, yeah. The other mistake on the way. The other mistake on the way. It's not on the way. Cleveland's on the way. Cleveland. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I used to clean the carpet. A lot of carpet drapes over there.
Hey, RBS fans, I'll fund your whole network, Rush. You guys have some money. Take a picture of it. You can? I'm on the job. All right. swing the competitors. That's how it happens.
Wants everybody to hold the title. You know what I mean? Mr. Trump lives on the other side of that bridge. Most of the stuff is here on the south side of town. After he becomes a regular citizen, are they going to shut it all down again every time he moves around?
No idea.
I know when he's been at Mar-a-Lago, they make you turn around, or if you're gonna go, you have to go through the CIA tent and all that.
Well, everybody knows that because there's signs.
Right, but I'm just saying, are they gonna have it shut down so there's no more northbound there?
So the same answer I just gave you, I have no idea.
Oh.
That's Palm Beach Island Police. We're separate. That's a separate police department.
Here comes another group. What? I didn't see the
Where? Where? Sound like my dog.
Let's start cheering. Come on. Pastor Bob once called me his personal chauffeur.
Sorry.
I think it's happening. I'll get him. I'll get him.
Tall, but not that tall. Tell us. What's Hey, listen, please do this story on this stuff. I will. Okay, because if it's true and you do your research and it's true, the world needs to know this.
Well, there you have it, folks. You just saw the President of the United States pass by with First Lady Melania Trump. They were inside the motorcade here, which just is going by. You can see it actually if you go down that way. And Don and Eric and all of them are in the cars behind it. So they're all here together as a family as they wrap up their time as the first family of the United States. So truly a honor to be covering this here today, and what you just witnessed was history. So Grace, that was really amazing. And do you have any final words for us?
Yes, that was amazing, honestly. I've never seen President Trump come through on a motorcade before. It's the last final moments of his presidency. There's about 38 minutes left until the next administration is inaugurated. But President Trump was glowing. He was glowing. And I don't think I've ever seen him actually that close in proximity to me. I've seen him at a lot of rallies. I've even sat front row, but it's still not as close as this was. So that was very up close and personal in his hometown of Palm Beach County, West Palm Beach. So it is very amazing. I've been honored to be on this campaign trail with Right Side Broadcasting, reporting the truth to you guys. And although it's a very bittersweet day, President Trump will still be with us even after this administration is sworn in. So it is truly an amazing movement, and I'm so grateful to all of our supporters at Right Side Broadcasting. And this certainly won't be the end of our movement. So I am optimistic.
Well, thank you so much, Grace. And of course, thank you to our partners who support us, like Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Be sure to visit mypillow.com. Use promo code RSBN. Receive up to 66% off your order. As for Grace and I here today, I'm pretty sure that will conclude our time here. The president just passed by in the motorcade, and there is only minutes left here to President Donald J. Trump, the 45th president's term, and certainly a great way to end it here. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.
We're not just any news network. We show the crowd, we show the energy, we show the enthusiasm, we interview people, we show the smiles on everyone's faces as they fill into one of these venues to support their president, to support their values, their beliefs, their flag, their country. We show all of that to you. We bring it right up to you and make it personal, as if you're with us here experiencing it for yourself. This is one of the things that we pride ourselves in doing, is showing you on the ground experience of how people are seeing it and experiencing it for themselves. Just the energy, it's so electric and exciting. People recognize us everywhere we go. We have to stop and take photos. There are thousands of people that come up to us after each event and ask us to keep fighting for them, keep showing the truth. They thank us. They thank us for giving them a voice, because nobody else will give them a voice. Instead, they take who they really are and turn them into something that they're not. They try to say that these are white supremacist gatherings and they're neo-Nazis. They spin all these false narratives, but in reality, there are Filipinos, there are Thai people, they're Chinese, they're Brazilian, they're Cubans, they're Africans, they're Jamaicans, they're Americans. There are people from all over the world, to be honest with you. Everybody supports this president. Everybody supports American ideals of liberty, truth, freedom. We can't thank you enough for supporting us at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We are almost entirely viewer supported. This isn't just our network, it's your network. This is a network for the people. This is a network that's about truth, delivering the truth, showing what's actually happening in the world from the perspective of the average person. We don't take money from big corporations. We don't take money from billionaires and big donors. We are all about the people. We're an independent media corporation. Your donations keep us to support Right Side Broadcasting. Go to our website, go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. Send your checks to our physical address or donate via Super Chat during our live streams. God bless you and thank you for supporting Right Side Broadcasting Network.